Yeah, they hate when you elevate. The second of losses, I'm handing them out, yeah, I had to go delegate. It feel like I'm floating, I'm lost in the moment, I swear I could levitate. They never believed that I would really fly, I had to go demonstrate. I had to set them straight. They hate when you elevate, elevate, elevate. They hate when you elevate, elevate, elevate. Yeah, they hate when you elevate, elevate, elevate. They hate when you elevate, yeah. I had to elevate. I'm way too fly. Yeah, I'm feeling myself. Ain't no chance I'm coming down, no. Got a soul view to myself, yeah. Why would I give it up? Why do they wanna come take my place? I work too hard for it, don't need a replacement. This my vocation. Now I got rollies all in rotation. Hop on a jet just to take a vacation. Remember the moments was trapped in the basement. Now the hard work is all taking me places. Squatting all black like we trapped in the matrix. Bet on myself and go ball out in Vegas. Living a life like I'm rich and I'm famous. Don't see the grind that I know that it came with. Oh. I ain't make it this far for myself, yeah. I had to prove to everybody else, I had to set them straight, yeah. I had to ball, so I had to renovate, I know. They hate when you elevate. The second of losses, I'm handing them out, yeah, I had to go delegate. It feel like I'm floating, I'm lost in the moment, I swear I could levitate. They never believed that I would really fly, I had to go demonstrate. I had to set them straight. They hate when you elevate, elevate, elevate. They hate when you elevate, elevate, elevate. Yeah, they hate when you elevate, elevate, elevate. They hate when you elevate, yeah. I had to elevate. Ooh, yeah. Why they wanna bring me down? So much drip, yeah, I almost drowned in it. I can't come it down. Yeah, I'm way too fired up. I can't slow it down. Ooh, yeah, yeah. I see the flashing lights. Make sure the fashion right, yeah. I'm in my bag tonight, yeah. I might just pull up a foreign. Watch out, the engine is roaring. It's too loud, you can ignore it. Yeah, yeah. This that high life for the few. You can have it all, no need to choose. First, let me demonstrate how you can rise to the top. Yeah, I had to elevate, 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 elevate. They hate when you elevate, elevate, elevate. Yeah, they hate when you elevate, elevate, elevate. They hate when you elevate.
Salute, everybody in the building. Yeah, man. Fawn Santiago, salute. Echo, salute. Antonio Mace, salute. Salute Charles Edward Cheese, back in the building tonight. Don't know if he's in the building right now, but salute to Charles Edward Cheese, showing love, back from a little bit of a hiatus. Cheese back in the building. Yeah, it's Monday night. You know how we carry it. It's my Friday. You know how we do. It's boxing, and we had a crazy weekend of boxing and politics and build on. You know, I got my perspective on a lot of things that happened this weekend, and obviously we have boxing to look forward to as well coming up. We got a little event coming up this weekend, but I think more importantly, the bigger events look like they're coming up is going to be, in the early November. We're going to see some fights coming up. That's going to be pretty interesting. But I think this weekend's boxing was very interesting, very interesting. The politics of boxing kind of played out real nasty work this weekend. In my opinion, you know what I mean? But shout out to everybody who competed on the PBC card this weekend. We had Tszyu obviously headlining the card against Bakram. Somebody help me out here. Motorielaziev. I can't say this dude's last name, man. I'm just gonna butcher his last name, so we're just gonna call him Bakram. Congratulations to Bakram, having an excellent showcase this weekend, and once again another Eastern European fighter just showing the world why he is who he is, right? Why the Eastern Europeans just seem to have a wave going about them this year, even last year, right? I mean, you break it down from all the way up from the undisputed heavyweight champion of the world, all the way down to the undisputed light heavyweight champion of the world, and obviously in the junior middleweight division, we've got Bakram, we've got Madrimov, we've got Serhiy Bodchuk, and you just go down the list. I could do it all day, right? Salute to the Realist 24 in the building. Salute. And the Eastern Europeans is really doing their thing this year, and nothing changed this weekend, right? Nothing changed this weekend. Ill-prepared Tszyu, who didn't really prepare himself to be in the ring with a boxer of that caliber, probably didn't really respect his pedigree for what he really brought to the table. Thought that he was going to be able to, revive or reinvent himself in the IBF in IBF sanctioning body and get himself a belt real quick to put himself right back in that conversation of unifying, becoming undisputed, get back in the conversation of fighting a Terrence Crawford, fighting a potential Errol Spence, or get his rematch back with a Sebastian Fundora, right? He's looking to get himself involved in those type of conversations. Salute. Bullet Gibson, what's good, family? What's good, right? And aiming to do that. And obviously falling short of that, and really falling short in a bad way, because it's one thing to lose, right? Obviously losing to somebody who doesn't really have a name in the game can have its effects one way or the other. But I think regardless of how you lose, whoever you're in the ring with, the way Tszyu was able to be dominated, just really looked like he was a fish out of water, really looked like he didn't belong in the ring with Bakram. And that's always an interesting to see, because, a lot of people right now want to count him out, right? They want to say he was always a hype job, that Tszyu was never that guy. I can't go with that energy, right? I've seen too much from Tszyu to understand the dog in him, to understand the skill set he brings to the table and the pedigree that he brings to the table. But there's something about the business of boxing, right? That although we always respect the fighters for testing themselves, we always talk about this on this channel, the best fighting the best, right? We want to see fighters testing themselves. But at the same exact time, you want to see things happening in an organic way. And it just seems with Tszyu, and we'll talk about it tonight, right? We're going to talk about it with Tszyu. It just seems like, he was getting pushed left to right, pulled by the PBC to do one thing, pulled by Turkey Al-Sheikh to do something else, pulled by his own promotional company to do something. And it looked like, all these things started to compound, and really just culminates into what we saw last night. And we'll talk about it all. We're definitely going to talk about it all tonight and see what it looks like for Tszyu and what it looks like. Is boxing a team sport? Is boxing a team sport? You know what I mean? And what I mean by that is, there's one thing, you see the fighter in the ring, but there's a whole team behind the fighter, right? You got the trainers, you got the promoters, right? You got or managers, however you want to look at it. You got all these moving parts to what you see inside of the ring, and is all the moving parts around Tszyu moving in accordance or aligned with Tszyu's success, or is he being taken advantage of? Is there a lot of people just really profiting off of his blood, sweat, and tears? And boxing is a dirty, savage sport. You know what I mean? Your health is on the line. We saw Tszyu go through last night. That's the price boxers pay, risk paying every time they get in the ring. And you want to make sure they're being compensated correctly, and make sure that whatever is happening, that's happening in the spirit of whatever's best for the fighter, right? What we got here in the chat here. You can't lose money on, you can't lose money on a consistent basis and expect them to use the same formula. Truth. Bullet Gibson, I think Tim overlooked this guy. Yeah, man. Yeah, he definitely overlooked him. He was looking past him, right? Because Tim was really just, it seemed like Bakram was a means to an end, right? He was just really just getting through Bakram right quick as far as he was concerned, to get a title and to get himself back in a conversation. He wanted to get back in that conversation, and it just seems like things weren't adding up with his mindset, right? I'm even hearing rumors that Tszyu moved his camp, or was like anticipating moving his camp from Australia over to Vegas. He felt like there's better sparring partners there. He feels like there's better opportunities if he's here in the States. And that mentality, isn't what got him to the show, right? You guys know how I always say, right? I always quote Mike Tyson. I say, always leave the party with who brought you to the party, right? Always leave the dance who brought you to the dance. And what brought Tszyu to the dance, to the front the way he did, his activity, was his country, right? His country did that. And it seemed like he was wanting to fall. He wanted to get under the umbrella of the PBC more so, right? No Limit was doing good for him in Australia, maybe yes, maybe no, but it seemed like he wanted to get into the state business, into the American side of boxing, in front of the American audience, and he wanted to tap into a market that maybe he didn't feel like he had a dominant presence in as much as he'd like to have it. And I think it's interesting because when we go back When we go back to this year in the PBC and the way the PBC has been kind of slowly rolling out this year, and we go back to the opening card this year, which was headlining Tszyu and Sebastian Fundora, it seemed like they put a lot on Tszyu's plate, right, on his shoulders, right? Because Tank Davis wasn't going to perform on that card. He was still working out the details or however his deal was going to roll out with Amazon and PBC situation. And they put it on Tszyu and they say, Tim, we need you. And Tim came out and communicated to the space. He said, look, I thought I was working on Terrence Crawford. I really thought that's what was happening. Terrence Crawford was looking to take a shot at my WBO title, and I was more than happy to fight Terrence Crawford, right? Based off the fact that Terrence Crawford and the Errol Spence rematch didn't, fizzled out. It didn't add up to nothing. But ultimately, the PBC had different plans. They wanted to showcase PBC fighters on that first card. They didn't want to really deal with Terrence. You guys know how that went. When they brought Errol in, regardless, they replaced him with Keith Thurman. And Tszyu was like, look, that's not who I was expecting to be working with. But at the end of the day, look, I'm going to take that, right? A 2.5-year layoff in Keith Thurman. What has he been doing? Nothing, not that much of a threat. That could be a last-minute replacement. Let's get it done. Now he's preparing for the 6 foot. Well, I don't even know how tall Keith is. I'll say he's somewhere between, I said 6 foot, somewhere between 5 foot, let's say 7 to 5'10", right? Somewhere in that range. An orthodox fighter, a guy who hasn't fought in 2.5 years, I can do it. Keith Thurman blows a muscle out of his bicep. And what do? They bring up Sebastian Fundora. They bring him with a WBC title. They offer him a unification title fight with this 6 foot, 680-inch plus arm reach freak of nature in the junior middleweight division. And being a good company, man, and not want to be a poor sport, and wanted to do what was right, not only for his career, but also for his relationship with the PBC, he got himself involved in that fight. But you got management around you. You got people around you that are supposed to be looking out for your best interest. And I'm not saying necessarily that Tszyu wasn't supposed to fight Sebastian Fundora, which some might argue that, but I'm not going to argue that, right? I'm going to say, okay, you're going to fight Sebastian Fundora. But was it up to the management to make sure that there were contingencies in that contract to protect him from the worst case scenario? It's one thing to bet on yourself, right? It's one thing to bet on yourself. As a fighter, you're going to bet on yourself. And of course, Tim is going into the situation thinking he's going to win. But what is the management's job and position in this scenario where it seems like Tszyu's getting pushed all around, where he's going from Terrence Crawford to now Keith Thurman, from Keith Thurman now to Sebastian Fundora? What's their role? What position do they play in a situation like this? I would say their biggest thing should be protecting their client, right? Protecting their client. Like, all right, we're going to do all these things, but what are we going to do to protect him from the worst case scenario? Because look, at the end of the day, Tszyu is a PBC fighter only when he fights in the States. Does Tszyu have as much priority and is as much of a concern of the PBC as Errol Spence, Sebastian Fundora, any other PBC fighter who's stateside? Or are they just concerned with him when he's over here, and they understand that as a champion, when he's overseas competing, PBC's interest isn't taken into consideration, right? So the manager's job is to protect their client, understanding especially that he's not from this country and he's not a PBC fighter like every other PBC fighter. He has a unique setup in comparison to, let's say, Errol Spence, right? Like when Leonard Ellaby says who's going to get the first shot at Tszyu, or the winner between Tszyu and Sebastian Fundora or Keith Thurman, and he says Errol is family, he's not going to say Tszyu's family. Is he? Maybe he will, maybe he won't. I don't know. But one could say that they putting all their big killers from the PBC, they're putting Sebastian Fundora in there, they're trying to put Errol Spence in the conversation, right? They're putting them in. That benefits the PBC for who to win? Does it benefit the PBC more if Errol wins or if Sebastian Fundora wins, or does it not matter across the board if Tszyu's a champion? Does it still benefit the PBC in the same way, right? It's up to the management to protect them, bottom line, at the end of the day, to have a contingency in there, because that was a bad look for Tszyu to have that fight with Sebastian Fundora, suffer that unforeseen accident in the ring by getting elbowed in his head, bleeding out like that, fighting his heart out to make sure to show the fans that he's a dog, entertain everybody, and then not even able to get his head to stop bleeding before Errol Spence walks in the ring and is in position now to take advantage of an opportunity to become a unified champion after coming off a dominant loss from Terrence Crawford. Right? Where's Tim Tszyu in that scenario? How is he protected in there? What does he get? He has no rematch. What's his next opportunity? Right? And be honest with you, him taking that chance and saying, F it, let's go ahead and make it happen. What position did that put him in? Let me catch up on the chat here. I see a lot of engagement here. I'm definitely interested in you guys' opinion tonight, man. Let's see. He was calling dude stepping stone and all types of ish, right? Bull Gibson. And the reality is the history behind Bakram has been paid step aside money like about 3 to 5 times by the PBC, right? When it came to Jamel Charlo and all those situations, Jamel went up to fight Canelo Alvarez possibly for a good reason. Not to say that he thought he was going to lose, but look, if this guy's not going to bring the same money as Canelo and I'm dealing with the same physical threats, the long arms, he's a bigger guy. You saw how Bakram looked in the ring. He looked like he could be a super middleweight whatever he rehydrated to. He looked like he could be a super middleweight. So, this guy was a threat from the beginning. If people did their research, which is another thing that the management is supposed to do, is do that research to understand that Bakram is not a regular dude. I mean, he's a champion, an undefeated champion with a decent knockout ratio. So, I mean, just on that level, he's not a regular dude, right? You look into that guy and you take that into consideration before you put something together. But even if you do the work when Sebastian Fundora was on the table, when Keith Thurman was on the table, if you properly put everything in position, then maybe Tim Tszyu doesn't end up in a situation where he's going into that fight not confident, having something to prove, or underestimating Bakram in the spirit of looking at all the opportunities that he probably missed out on just from that injury that he got on top of his head, right? Let's be honest, right? Shout out Ross Scott. Shout out to Ross Scott in the building. Let me see here. Let me catch up here. What's going on in the chat right here? Tim made a lot of poor choices. Even after getting rocked, he kept running at the Bakram and getting caught with big punches. So, of course, the fight ended early. Yeah, Anonymous, for sure. He had something on his mind. You could tell. Tim was trying to prove something. His father was in the building. He was trying to do something. You know what I mean? And it just didn't work out for him here. Let me see. That cut is going to be on his mind for a few fights, and it's healed all the way. Yeah, you saw him, Great Gambino. You saw him put his hand on his head, check for the blood. It was on his mind. The injury was on his mind. Cornelius, hey, what's up, Clay? Salute, Cornelius Jenkins. What's good, family? I watched the fight over the weekend and watched you and Blue live at the same time. Y'all reaction was priceless. That was a good upset. Yeah, that reaction was crazy. Because I knew it could happen, though. I'm going to be real with you. I didn't think it could happen that way, but I knew there was a good chance that Bakram would win this fight, especially once they got in the ring. You saw them standing in front of each other in the ring. You saw the size difference. And I know that Eastern European boxing is going to it was going to be dependent on Tim Tszyu's approach to the fight and him being aggressive like that. It was kind of written on the wall what's going to happen to him. Bullet Gibbons said, to be fair, they would sacrifice Sebastian Fundora in that fight because he was coming off a knockout loss. Yeah, Bullet, I hear you. Maybe. But I just feel like 6'6". I think 6'6" needs a training camp. I think they put a lot. If they did think he was going to be a sacrificial lamb, they put way too much weight off a bad performance, off him getting stopped by Brian Mendoza, to where most people who saw that fight, I don't know how you felt about it when you watched that fight, would say that Sebastian Fundora was winning that fight. Right? He was winning that fight for the most part against Brian Mendoza. He just got clipped. I mean, thinking that all of a sudden he's going to go from being one of the biggest threats in the junior middleweight division to not a threat at all. I mean, the kid was fighting for a WBC title against Serhii Bohachuk before that fight. They put him in title contention. He's probably going to beat Serhii, right? That's what they were anticipating to happen. We don't know what's going to happen because Serhii's a dog, but I don't know. Let's see here. I agree. As a manager, they should always have him in the best situation. 100% realistic. You got to protect your fighter. Like, from himself, right? The manager is there to protect the fighter from himself sometimes. Like, yeah, I know you want to go fight everybody. I know that's what you want to do. But at the end of the day, we need to make sure that everything makes sense. They're making all these adjustments. What kind of pay compensation are we getting? What type of contingencies are we getting? Are we getting a rematch clause in there? You know what I mean? I know you guys got big plans, but hold on. We're making a lot of last-minute adjustments. My fighters were preparing to fight an orthodox 5'8" inactive Keith Thurman, and now he has to get ready for a hungry 6'6", 80-inch arm reach southpaw. He hasn't had time to prepare. 10 days notice is not a lot of notice. We got to bring in people for him to spar. What are we getting for that? I mean, would Tim Tszyu have been wrong to walk away from that fight with Sebastian Fundora? Let's say he did. What would the world have said, right? And how would the PBC event have turned out without that headliner there, right? I mean, I guess they could have made Rolly and Isak Cruz a headliner, right? I guess they could have done that. Hindsight said that would have been a good headliner just because how competitive the fight was. Let's see here. PBC needed Tim to be the face of the company. He dropped the ball with EJ fight, so his punishment was a fight in the ballroom. They knew he wasn't in the right mind for this fight. Was that a punishment? You think so, Mr. Big Play? They thought Tim was going to knock off Sebastian. Yeah, I guess. Maybe. Special shout out to Lamont Roach, Ross Clot. Yeah, Mr. Big Play. Salute, Ross Clot. Salute. Let's see, Rollo. Oh, salute to Rollo Green in the building. Claymore Rain versus the Morning Drunk. Turkey said he got a bag for y'all. Do you accept or do the tank and duck? If Turkey got a bag for me, I'm picking it up. Rollo, Turkey got a bag for me, I'm picking it up. So yeah, you know what I mean? Whatever he was saying, tell him to get that message over to me. Turkey got the bag, I'm picking it up. Bullet Gibson, yes, he was definitely beating Mendoza, but he got knocked out and took the Tim fight short notice. I believe he fought him a couple of months after just getting stopped. Yeah, you're right, Bullet. You're right, Bullet. No doubt. You're right, Bullet. That's what happened. But I can tell you right now, when that fight got put together with Sebastian Fundora, I ain't gonna lie to you. I knew Sebastian could win that fight. I really thought he might win that fight. I'm gonna be real with you. Now, let's be real. Tim fought a good fight in that fight. Really, that cut on his head made the big difference. Sebastian Fundora was getting clipped. Let's not forget, he walked out of that ring with a broken nose and got put out of boxing for, pretty much the whole, for about 6 months, six months to 9 months. He got put out of commission. So Tim was whooping his tail. A lot of people still feel like Tim won the fight. But still Tim Tszyu's team should have had better control over that situation. Ross got y'all with these conspiracy theories. Shaq, explain how they thought Tszyu was going to run all over dude. Exactly, Ross Scott. I don't think that they thought he was going to run over dude, bro. I think it was dudes. I think it was Tim Tszyu's team's responsibility to be aware of the situation more than Tim. Tim's going to listen. If his management team is like, we got you, don't worry about it. Tim seems like one of those guys who just focuses on the fight. Like, yo, I'm here to fight. I just want to fight. I ain't focused on anything else. It's everybody else's job to kind of like look out for him a little bit and be like, yo, hold on, champ. Yo, we don't want him to fight Sebastian right now. He didn't prepare for that. And if he does fight Sebastian, how is he protected? How is he protected if something doesn't go the way it's supposed to? If something goes the way it's not supposed to, how is my client protected? What contingencies does he have to protect himself? Every champion thinks like that. Every champion carries themselves like that. Do you guys think Floyd Mayweather would have been in a fight like that with no contingencies? Do you think Errol Spence would have been in a fight like that with no contingencies? Terrence Crawford, Tank Davis, and these are fighters who probably going to win, right? But do you think Tank's going to be in a situation where there's not a contingency to protect him? Is Leonard Ellerbe going to let him walk into a situation like that? Nah, bro. I doubt it. Let's see here. EJ was there to challenge Tim. Yeah, I agree with you, Mr. Big Way. He was there definitely to challenge Tim Tszyu. Tim had a technical flaw. Salute to Boxing Hacker in the building. Salute. Appreciate the love. Thank you for putting some color in the chat. Tim had a technical flaw. When he got clipped. He kept trying to get his lick right back. He should have held and moved until he got his legs back. Yeah, he kind of did the Devin Haney a little bit, right? Devin Haney kind of did the same thing, didn't he? Devin Haney kind of did the same thing. And that's just the heart of a lion. Bad decision by Tim to move with that kind of energy. But I mean, it is what it is, right? As far as that fight being a bad fight for Tim to take, hindsight says that. But look, Tim is challenging himself. There was a belt on the line. Whoever has the belt, if you really believe in yourself, that's the direction he should have went into. It is what it is, right? It is what it is. But I think early in the conversation, Tim Tszyu's team just doesn't seem like they handled him correctly. It doesn't seem like it was put together the right way to protect him from the worst case scenario. And unfortunately, the worst case scenario did happen to him, right? Salute to 2 Cents Boxing in the building. Yeah, sometimes your warrior spirit works against you. 100%, boxing hacker, 100%. They didn't protect him, man. At the end of the day, they didn't protect him, man. They didn't protect him. And now, let's be honest, Tim Tszyu is a high-risk, low-reward fighter, right? Or is he there yet? You guys let me know in the chat. Is he a high-risk, low-reward fighter now? Is he a fighter with no belts, 2 losses, but still a legitimate fighter, a puncher? Is that who you decide to fight? Who's going to fight Tim Tszyu now? Who's going to fight him? Timmy, too arrogant. Let me see. 2 Cents said Timmy too arrogant. He didn't learn anything from the Fundora fight. I mean, look, 2 Cents. The rumor was the only reason he lost the Fundora fight is because he got a cut on his head. Right? So fundamentally, nothing was wrong with what he did. He had the perfect game plan. He was doing great. He just got cut on his head. The only issue that he had with Fundora is that he was 6'6" and his head hit him in Fundora's elbow. Right? So what was he going to learn from it? The realist, I think they had a plan to build. Let me pull it up here. I can't read over. There we go. I think they had a plan to build him up, Tim solely for EJ to come and regain the throne, because I can't see them putting that much faith in Tim. He's not that good. And I was saying that before he ever lost. Wow. Okay. Shout out to J Pitt City in the building, putting some color in the chat. I appreciate you, King. Thank you. Tim Tszyu turned down a big Turk bag just to get obliterated inside a small bar. He got fired. His entire staff for a lack of research. Yeah. J Pitt. Damn, brother. You know what I mean? And that's what this is all about, man. You know, what's Tim Tszyu's team's responsibility? Because let's be real. Tim Tszyu didn't do nothing wrong. He didn't do nothing wrong. He listened to his team. He wanted to compete against the best. That's what you want in your fighter. You want a fighter with that spirit. But the management is supposed to move with a certain awareness. And it just seems like they're not there. It seems like they never factored in the fact that Tim could lose. Right? And then that Sebastian Fundora fight is really, it's a profound fight, because this guy, you know what I mean? You could see the PTSD in the fight when he fought against Bakram. You saw how the remnants of the results of that fight showed up in this fight. Him checking his head to see if he was bleeding. The reckless abandonment, his need to stop Bakram instead of just win. He didn't stay behind the jab. He's fought against fighters who are disciplined, who can box. That's not his first time fighting a fighter like Bakram necessarily. I mean, Bakram's an official talent, but the way Tim went out in 3 rounds, when he went down like 5 times, come on. That's not characteristics of Tim Tszyu that we're familiar with. Let's see. 2 Cents said, that's not true. People say that, but I have Fundora winning that fight before the cut. I mean, that's an opinion, right? 2 Cents, we'll never know, right? I'll say this. That was a very close split decision. And a lot of people felt like Tim Tszyu won that fight, even with the cut. A lot of people thought that. I remember the next day, a lot of people felt like Tim won the fight. But I mean, it wasn't like a robbery, obviously. You know what I'm saying? I feel like Sebastian Fundora won the fight, you know, but there was a lot of people who thought he won that fight. Let's see, Ross Clott. Yes, Tim Tszyu's still a threat, guys. Let me see. Yes, Tim Tszyu's still a threat. Guys lose all the time and bounce back, and some don't bounce back. It remains to be seen. Yeah, exactly, Ross Clott. But at this point, with no belt, what does Tim Tszyu bring to the table? He's a fighters like Tim Tszyu, Jerron Boots Ennis, Terrence Crawford, even Shakur Stevenson. And I always said Tank would be in the same boat if Tank didn't have Floyd Mayweather behind him. If Tank didn't have that machine behind him, these fighters are high risk, low reward. You don't fight these dudes unless titles are on the line, legacies on the line, money's on the line. You only fight these fighters for the right reasons. You don't just fight them just to be fighting them. You know what I mean? You don't just fight them to be fighting them. That's why even I believe to a degree that Tszyu really wanted to get that IBF title because he knew without a title, it was going to be difficult for him to get in the biggest fights. The only person who's really trying to put him in the biggest fight was, to me, it looked like it was Turkey, to be honest with you, as far as the money was concerned. And he has loyalty to No Limit and to the PBC, clearly, which is an honorable characteristic of Tszyu. But is that working against him, for him? You know what I mean? In this situation, being a company man, what does that even mean? You happen to have the luxury of having your own promotional company. From what I understand, well, not his, like he owns it, but he has a company that he comes with to the table with No Limit from Australia. And from what I understand, they paid for the event, or most of that event, on Saturday. So, you know, company man? I don't know. Let's see what we got here. In the chat, Anonymous says, let's see, he played himself going against Turkey, Real Estate. Yeah, to a degree, I think he did play himself a little bit going against Turkey. I feel like these fighters shouldn't be turning away, burning any bridges in this game. You never know what position you're going to be. You don't have to do the business with Turkey, but you can keep the door open by the way you don't do the business, right? It's not what you say, how you say it. Is that how it goes, right? Burning that bridge and getting all arrogant and saying all that stuff. Now, look, I mean, if the PBC if the PBC does what I would think is the right thing for the PBC to do with Tszyu, then he's in good hands. But if they treat him like he's like an outsider, or treat him like, listen, man, if Tszyu ends up back in Australia fighting a Mike Zarafa, right? Fighting fights out there in Australia trying to build his name up, then was it worth burning the bridge? Because the PBC got no interest in what you do in Australia. They have no interest in what you do out of the country. Their game and their contract and their agreement with you is to work with you on what you do in the States. So what does Tszyu move to the States now? Does he move to Vegas? I don't know, right? Let's see here. A lot in the chat right now. Shout out to everybody in the building right now. We got 28 people in the building. Please hit that like button. Let's get the algorithm going. Let me see. Turkey wanted him to fight Ortiz. Yeah, Turkey wanted him to do a lot. Fight Ortiz, fight Terrence Crawford. He wanted to get him into the mix, right? It wasn't going to be in the States, but it was going to get him on that big stage, and it was definitely going to get him paid. Karma Serene says, justice for Tszyu. Salute, Karma Serene. Salute. Let's see here. Realist 24. Then Bud, if you would have won Saturday, 100%. Realist Jonathan 97. Salute. Won't count him out yet. Put him in there with Lubin. Yeah, but Jonathan 97. Why would Lubin fight Tszyu? If Lubin fights Tszyu, that's a PBC move again. That's not Lubin's best interest. Lubin should be chasing down Bakram. Why would I fight you, Tim? You ain't got no belt. I think Lubin is ranked pretty high up in that IBF ranking. So I'm pretty sure Lubin will be chasing that fight with Bakram. Why fight Tszyu? You coming off 2 losses. I don't need to fight you. And you're a risk. You ain't an easy fight. So why would I fight you for nothing? And who's going to put the money behind Tszyu and what? I don't know. It just gets so deep. It gets so deep. Cameron Fields, salute. Let's see, 2 cents. Timmy got names on his resume, but he was moved well. Okay. He should have took a tune-up. That spirit getting these fighters' ass whooped. Yeah, 2 cents. I think he was moved well until the Fundora fight. I don't think they handled the Fundora situation right. I'm be real with you. I don't think the management handled the Fundora shit. Sebastian Fundora is not the kind of fighter you take as a replacement. He just isn't. You want to get some sparring in. You want to get some tall guys in the camp. You want to get a camp going. You want to prepare a strategy for Sebastian Fundora. You don't want to be doing nothing inside of 10 days. 10 days before the fight, you just want to make sure you're on weight, make sure you're on shape, make sure you're not having no injuries. If you're sparring 10 days before the fight, anywhere 5 to 10 days before the fight, I think you're risking injury. How much can you really get in? How prepared can you get in 10 days for a fighter like Sebastian Fundora? I don't know. Let's see then, Bud. And one side, I won't count him out. Salute, Timmy. Still too soon to call him a journeyman, though. Yeah, Jay Pitt. He can be turned into a journeyman, though, right? Let's be honest. like what is a journeyman really at the end of the day, right? A gatekeeper. Tszyu is going to have a machine behind him. The PBC is going to have to stand tall. The PBC is going to have to stand tall for Tszyu, bro. The PBC is going to have to stand tall for Tszyu. They're going to have to say, damn, bro, this kid is a star. He had some unfortunate things happen to him. We're going to take care of him. We're going to get him built back up. And here's the strategy we're going to do. And what and the resources we're going to put that we're going to invest into the machine behind Tszyu to get him back up and going. He's bringing a whole country with him. They got to find that kind of interest in him. If they don't treat him that way, then he could fizzle. People are predicting anywhere from 2 to 3 years for him to build back up from where he left off at. Maybe that's an exaggeration. Maybe it's not. But that's just letting you know that that loss he just took, very impactful. And a lot of this is the foundation to this is the way that Sebastian Fundora situation was handled. Let's see here. Tim got the big head. Yeah, too rich. Tim got the big head. I think Tim's management got the big head. I think the management, and I think that big head is why Turkey was like, pause, by the way. I think that's why Turkey was like, I don't want to do business with them. I think they were talking big. They were talking too crazy. They were being very arrogant. They felt like, nah, we got the star. We don't need you for nothing. And Turkey like, damn, you talking to me crazy. Say less. Say less, King. Don't worry about it, man. Don't worry about it. Y'all got it, man. Good luck on your career. Hope everything works out for you. And Karma's a, ain't she? You don't need Turkey. PBC going to keep looking out. They always do. All right, 2 cents. That's what's up. That's what's up. That's what's up, man. I wonder what that looking out looks like, though, because Tszyu needs some development right now. He doesn't need to get thrown in another crazy fight. He needs a tune-up. That man needs a tune-up. You know what I mean? So I'm interested in seeing what that's going to look like. Let's see here. He don't need the pre-fight talk from Tim was wild. 100% J Pick Karma Serene. I feel like Turkey wants people to get on their knees for him. Not everyone can be bought. Karma, I don't think that's what it is. I think he gets a bad rap. I don't know it's about getting on your knees. I don't think it's about that, right? But I do think one of the things about Turkey, one of the things that he comes to the table with that's different than most of these guys with money is he's not really trying to deal with the management like that, right? He's trying to deal with the fighters and let the fighters put the management where they want to put him at. So I think that may be a little arrogant of him. And look, Turkey probably has some arrogance about him. The man's got money. The man's got money, and he's used to being treated like royalty where he's from, right? So he's mic check. You guys hear me? Can I get a 1 in there? If you guys can hear me, you guys hear me? Mic check, mic check. You guys hear me in the building? Can I get a 1? If you hear me, is my mic good? All right. Awesome. Sweet. Perfect. Yeah, but I don't think that's what it is with Turkey. I think Turkey's a threat to, seems like he's, he comes in the room and he seems like he's more of a threat to the promoters and the managers. And I guess he is in his own right. But yeah, I just don't see the knee thing. I don't see the having to get on your knee thing. I don't think that's that serious. I'm not gonna lie to you, but I could be wrong, man. Let's see. 2 cents. Fulton about to get a title shot. Is Fulton about to get that title shot? So Fulton's gonna fight. What is it gonna be? Brandon Figueroa for that WBC title? Is that what's happening? At 126, right? 2 cents. Yeah, man. Let me see. Anonymous. Tszyu should fight Mike Zarafa. Yeah. In a tune-up as a comeback fight. Yeah, that's what I mean. But I feel like if he ends up in Australia fighting Mike Zarafa, I don't think that's a good look for the PBC. I'm gonna be real with you, that he would have to do that. You know what I mean? I don't think so. But you know what I mean? I think that's work that No Limit's doing. And I would expect PBC to kind of respect what Tim has done for them, because Tim's headlined their first card and headlined their first free card, right? With no problem. Taking difficult fights, not easy fights. Last minute replacements on the first fight that ended up with him getting a bad injury that is in his mind, and also getting a bad loss, being stopped inside of 3 rounds. You know what I'm saying? So we gotta be 100. We gotta be 100. Tim's made a lot of sacrifices for the company. He's a company man. He's an official company man. When nobody else would do it, it seems like he would do it. When Tank wouldn't do the first event, Tim did it. Right? Nobody wanted to do the free card. Tim did it. Tim worked in a ballroom, no music. Walk into the ring, no music, no nothing. In front of his dad. You know what I'm saying? Kazuzu sitting there in the front row inside the ballroom watching his son get pieced up. That got to count for something. Let's see here. Tim Tszyu should fight. Okay, boom, boom, boom. Here we go, LOL. Yeah, they don't like her. I'm just saying, Pitt. I hear you, Karma. I think people put a lot of bad juju on Turkey, man. I ain't gonna lie to you, man. I mean, you guys know I rock with Turkey. You know what I'm saying? I like what he's doing for the sport. But I think the other choice is a choice that I'm not willing to take, which is allowing boxing and the matchmaking to be what it is. I'm sorry. I want to see better matchmaking. I want to see these fighters get whatever they want, whatever they can get. Like, you know, I want them compensated properly, and I want to see the fights that I want to see. And it doesn't seem like the promoters today are really interested in doing that as much as Turkey is. So I'm not as resistant on the Turkey as everybody else. Tim shot, punch resistance gone. Is that what it is, too, Rich? Is his punch resistance gone? I don't think that's what it is, man. I don't think the punch resistance is gone because he never got hurt with Sebastian Fundora. I think he was getting caught with shots he didn't see coming, and those would be the worst shots. But I don't think that's what it is, man. I don't think his punch resistance is gone. I don't think that's what it is. Greg Gambino said Earl not looking too bad right now. That's what I'm hearing. Greg Gambino, I'm hearing that. Lubin would be a good fight for Tim. Look, Lubin would a great right. Yeah, Lubin would be a good fight for Tim, but Lubin has no reason to fight Tim. Why give up the position and risk your position that you're in right now? He's in title contention. He can fight Bakram right now. Lubin's in the conversation of fighting Bakram right now. Why give up that position to fight Tim Tszyu right now? I don't think so. J Pitt City, a guy who's big in name only. He's one more consecutive loss away from that. Yeah. Yeah, bro. Salute to 4K Zay in the building. Salute, my guy. I don't care about your I don't care about your sleep play. Yeah, man, I know. He need a confidence building fight. Yeah, for sure, JB. PBC only looking out for a few fighters. I don't know if Tim is one of them. 100% Bullet Gibson. 100%, bro. We don't need to BS about that. Let's see here. Country Q, what's up, Clay? Did you decide which fight you hitting up, Keyshawn or Boots? It's going to be Boots, Country. It's going to be Boots. It's going to be Boots. Keyshawn was sold out in like 2-3 days, brother. So couldn't even be that if I wanted to be. I'll be parking lot pimping out there if I had to go out there. Let's see. 2 cents. The way he yelled and put his finger in Bivens' face was crazy. I don't know where we at with that one. 2 cents. I'm lost. So maybe it'll catch up to me. Turkey's good for boxing. He's trying to put money in everyone's pocket. Yeah, man. Rejuvenation Garden. Still needs a rematch for Fundora. Shaquilla. Salute Shaquilla Fields. Salute Shaquilla. What's good? What's good? Oh, my guy, Ray Davis, putting some color in the chat. Donated to the chat from here for boxing. Salute my peeps. I'll be up in a few. No doubt. No doubt, Ray. Yeah, man. Salute to you here for boxing, man. Thank you for the love, man. Good evening. Bullet Gibson. Only the Cow Fighters fans not trying to have their fighter take a chance with Turkey. Listen, one thing about Turkey, you ain't going to get no easy fights. Yeah. PBC pushes whoever loses a tank. Look at Mario, Pitbull, and Rolly. Okay. How they looking out? And they gave Timmy a title shot after a loss. How are they not looking out? I don't think the PBC's not 2 cents. I don't think the PBC's not looking out. I don't think that, right? I do feel like I said, I think where the management with Tim Tszyu has gone left for me, where he was mishandled, in my opinion, was on the way they dealt with him at the Sebastian Fundora, that first event. You know what I mean? That first event is where I think that first event makes a big difference in this conversation. Tim should have had a rematch clause, and he should have been dealing with getting that fight back with Sebastian Fundora. He should have been in that conversation. I mean, if you watch that fight again and just watch it, at the end of that fight, the way he was just not a factor anymore once he lost, and it became all about Errol and Sebastian. I just don't know, man. I think contingencies could have been put in his contract that would have protected him better than what we saw that night. You know what I mean? It is what it is. Yeah, they gave him a title fight, even though it was on a small card. And I think that, from what I'm understanding, No Limit was the one spending the money on putting that card together. From what I understand, I don't know. I could be wrong. I am speculating, but that event was ashy. That event wasn't where it was supposed to be. It was a good event, though. Great fights. The card had great fights on it for sure. But ashy event. Ashy event. Let's see here. Rollo Turkey made Jared sell his soul for that check. I'm with Bob on that. Yeah. Well, look. Turkey didn't make him sell his soul. Turkey said, I got some money for you for the right fight. I mean, what's wrong with that? I got some money for you for the right fight. I'm not going to just give you a no cherry pick. He had just came off a super cherry pick before and decided to box and dance all around the ring and not give the crowd nothing. He gave him a fight that he was going to take seriously. And Jared didn't take it seriously. He played himself. Salute, Digo, 82. What's good, family? You know what I mean? Yeah, but Bob's right, because Bob knew that Jared wasn't ready for that fight. Bob knew Jared wasn't ready for that fight. That's what he was basically saying. He said, I knew that kid was not ready for that fight. That kid wasn't saying the right things. He wasn't moving the right way. He wasn't training the right way. He wasn't fighting the right competition. He wasn't ready for no damn Martin Bacoli. For sure, he wasn't ready for no damn Martin Bacoli. He played himself, but he got a bag, though. So shout out to Jared Anderson. Maybe that might be the fire that needed to be lit on his ass for him to get better and do what he's supposed to do. You know what I mean? Let's see here. Clay called it. It was ashy, man. You know it was ashy, man. If you watch that event, you know that event was ashy, man. That event was messy, man. Diabolical, right? Shout out to Showbiz. It was a diabolical event, man. To see that man walk into the ring, taking 10 steps from the back room to the actual ring. No music, giving people dap, acting like I mean, that's all part of the show. That's amping him up. That's getting him right, man. Putting him in the right stage, putting him in front of that crowd, giving him that big show. Who knows what kind of Tim would have came out with that right motivation? You know what I mean? It was lackluster, man. It was lackluster. It was lackluster, man. Let me see here. Told y'all Jared was food for sure, 2 cents. I do remember you saying that too, 2 cents for sure. I knew Martin Bacoli was a problem. That's what I definitely understood. To myself, I said it. I said, if Jared win this fight, Jared shown that he that guy. Because I knew Martin wasn't coming to play. Ross Scott said Jared wasn't ready for anyone. He's a bum. Jared ready for some people. I can see Jared Anderson competing with a yard. What's my name? My boy's name, man. I'm so tired, man. This is where the long day starts to kick in. What's my man's name? Fabio Wardley. I think Jared could compete with Fabio Wardley. What y'all think? No, he can compete with Fabio. He can do work with Fabio. He got guys out there he could rumble with. I could see him running it with Frank Sanchez. You know what I'm saying? You think he's too small for the heavyweight division? Yeah, he is small in comparison to Martin Bacoli. He was. Jared damn near lost to weak-ass Martin. For sure he did, Ross Scott. You ain't lying. He damn sure did. He damn sure did, bro. You ain't lying. Rejuvenation Garden, do you think Bakram will cause top 154 as a problem? 100%. I mean, we need to talk about him for sure. Bakram is arguably the biggest threat at 154 right now. Arguably. I'm not saying he is, but Tszyu is a name, and he made him look like nothing. Got him out of there in 3 rounds. He's got the most dominant win at 154 that I've seen in a minute. Bakram is arguably the best guy right now at 154. He's a threat to anybody at 154 right now, including my favorite fighter, Terrence Crawford. Needs to pay real attention if he's going to step in the ring with this dude, and I don't think he will, personally. I'm not saying I don't think he wouldn't, I think he would, but I don't think he will. You know what I mean? Bull, you think he's capped? You think I'm capped, bro? You don't think Bakram is arguably the most dangerous dude at 154 right now? Who do you have over him? I mean, just on paper, who do you have over Bakram right now? And I'm not saying he's the top dude. There could be a top dude over him, but he's arguably, you can argue, you can put him up against whoever the top dude is right now, and we got to figure out who's better. Who's big, who's over him? I mean, you're gonna say Terrence? I mean, I'm sure that's what you're gonna say. I don't know. Who you got, Bullet? You gotta let me know. You said Cap, man. You gotta let me know, bro. If it ain't Bakram, who is it? Who is it? Let's see. Too Rich. The fight makes Crawford look better, though. Makes Crawford. You talking about the fight he had with Madrimov, right? Is that what you're saying, Too Rich? Let me see. Ross said Jared weaker than Metro PC. Oh, damn. Bud would cook him. Charles Conway might destroy dude. Hey, good fights, but we don't know. Right now, I'm saying on paper, man, I'm just keeping it 100. How about this? Amongst the champions right now, Terrence Crawford is pound for pound the best fighter in the world, and I understand where you're going with it, right? But Bakram is the only fighter I've seen at 154 in that top 10 who's made a clear separation. Like, he had a clear win, like a clear separation in the way he competed with one of the top guys in the division, which is Tszyu. I know people want to discredit Tszyu and say he's not all that, but I'm not subscribing to that. Tszyu's the truth, man. He had a bad night, but that's a dominant win. Super dominant win. First person to put him on his pockets and stopped him, had his corner throw the towel in for him. Come on, man. Come on, man. Keith Thurman. What Keith Thurman gonna do? You saw what Keith Thurman said outside the ring, Jonathan 97. What we talking about? Let me see. 2 cents says Fandora, the most dangerous fighter at 54. I'm not saying he the most skilled, but he dangerous. You seen what happened to Tim? Yeah, he is. He's up there. He's there. He's there. I'll be honest with you guys. Who do you guys want to see Bakram fight next? Please don't say Terrence. Anybody but Terrence right now. Just, I would love to see him fight Terrence too, but you already know how Terrence Crawford is carrying it, what he's looking for. You know, just outside of Terrence Crawford, who? Nah, dude is dangerous, but I was saying Cap to most dangerous. Yeah, no, I'm saying argument Bullet. I'm not saying he is the most dangerous. I'm saying he's in the argument. He's in the argument for the biggest threat right now at 154. He's in that conversation, man. Charlo, 2 cents, girl, come on. 2 cents, come on. 2 cents, come on, girl. That boy's not even active. Why? You talking about the Charlo before his 2-year hiatus, his 1.5-year hiatus? Maybe that Charlo. What Charlo do we have right now? I don't know. Is he? I don't know. You talking about Jamel too, right? I don't know. I don't know. Bullet, Erickson Lubin. What's Erickson Lubin? He's the most dangerous guy in the division? I don't know about that. I don't know about that. Let me see. Both Charlos is bums. Roscott. Everybody a bum. Roscott, who not a bum, man? Who not a bum, Roscott? Who in the current top 10 has Charlo beat currently? 100%. Bakram versus the winner of Madrimov versus Barja, because the Americans no Americans will fight him. 100% to go. 100%. I think that's what's going to end up happening. I think he is going to fight the winner between Madrimov and Sergey Barchuk. That's what I believe too. Salute. Great Davis in the building.
What's going on, Clay? You hear me all right?
I hear you. I hear Bullet. Yeah, you're right, Bullet, for sure. Erickson Lubin for the next fight. I'm feeling that. I feel you on that. I got you, Roscott. Roscott said we want to bring up the dead. He said, bring up the dead. Muhammad Ali is no bum. Marvin Hagler is no bum. I hear you, bro. What's good? Where you at, man? Ray, what you doing?
I'm here. You hear me?
Yeah, I hear you. Yeah.
Okay, that's what's up. I'm liking the conversation going on. A lot of people are just mistaken, and it's just my opinion that when you have a fight that you're not expecting a fighter to have against somebody that you feel that's elite, surprisingly enough, we don't give the credit to the person that won that fight. That guy was focused and ready to go, whether Tszyu was not, or just following up some type of a reaction to the Fandora fight. And his way of preparing for the fight. I mean, the guy came out flat. He didn't look like he had the energy, like he didn't want to be there. But I want to give Baccarat all the credit for showing up, man. He stood toe to toe. He did what he had to do. He was clean and fresh with his hooks, bro. He dropped that man. He beat him up. And when we watch these guys like this, Clay, what we have to do is recognize. Matter of fact, hold on, time out. Salute to my peoples out there in the chat, man. Salute. Brother man about to go into the job, but I had to check in with the fam as always. So salute to everybody. Salute, Clay. Let me start there and rewind back. But yeah, man, this guy is definitely out here making noise. Anytime something new happens, it's always somebody, the new kid on the block right now, and that's what he is. And you got to remember, 154 is an untainable division, such as 140. We don't know. Champions have been exchanging belts and losses and wins. Fighters have been unknown coming up, taking titles and making and getting big chances and opportunities. These things happen because it's boxing. At the end of the day, this is boxing. This is what's supposed to happen. Yeah, there's an underdog in every fight, but when it's a disciplined, whip your tail fight like this, bro, you got to give that guy credit. Is he the best at 154 right now? Absolutely. And I say that with a lot of thought. I put a lot of thought into it. Right now, he's the only guy that's surviving at 154. He didn't move up. There was nobody else there. He fought. He was in line waiting for his shot. He didn't get his shot. Hence that he won the fight to get the title. He didn't just get handed the title. He's a fighting champion. And out of all the champions at 154 since Charlo lost, all of them were, I believe, handed titles, if I'm not mistaken, except for this dude. I mean, everybody else was handed their title. So he's a fighting champion. He came into there winning. He has the confidence enough to keep winning. Eastern European fighters have shown to have the skill set to win. Now, does he beat everybody at 154? No. But currently, as we stand, if we go by you're as good as your last fight, this has been the best performance I've seen at 154 by any fighter in last year, I think, Clay. But salute on that, man. I just wanted to tap in.
No doubt, family. Please, thank you, man. Yeah, man.
Anytime, bro.
I agree, man. I think Baccarat has the most significant win right now in the division. He has the most significant win. You can't take that away from him. And like I said, arguably the most dangerous fighter right now in the division. And definitely, in my opinion, the high risk, low reward. You know what I mean? A lot of high risk with him, man. Clearly, you can see that. And the reward is just an IBF belt. He has no real fan base. He doesn't bring any puts any butts in the seats. He doesn't sell any pay-per-views. He doesn't sell any views. Nobody's checking for him. But he's a dude that would derail you, bro. He would derail whatever you got going on, whatever you're working on, whatever it is that you got going on. He will derail. He will derail you. And that's a dangerous fighter. Not off one fight, Rollo. No, not off one fight, Rollo. He's a champion, bro. He's an undefeated champion, brother. The reality is, in my opinion, Baccarat should have never been slept on. This is what the issue is. We want to make it end all be all off of one fight, and the reality, and Terrence was saying is, just because you don't know the fighter, don't mean he ain't one of them. You know, and I said this fight right here puts his fight with Israel Madrimov in perspective. When people thought it was way too competitive, and that was a sign that Terrence Crawford is not the same. No, Terrence just took his time because he respected that dude's pedigree. He respected that dude's pedigree, man. He knew what he was getting in the ring with. And Tim got pieced up because he didn't respect who he was in the ring with. You know, Baccarat is a factor, bro. Maybe Tim wasn't just that good. He was 7-1 underdog. Just off one fight. Listen, man, that 7-1 was nonsense. If you watch anything on and salute to Bruce Gas Boxing in the building, by the way. Salute Bruce Gas. Always a pleasure to have you in the building. That dude was not supposed to be no 7-1. That's a fact. Madrimov about to have more looks from that fight. 100%. And I think that's gonna be a great fight on that card. Might steal the show, Madrimov versus Sergey Balchuk on that Tyson Fury, Alexander Usyk card. Clay, Can Bullet get a wrench, bro? He gray out here. Oh, yeah, he is gray out here for sure. For sure. Standing moderator. There we go. You good to go, Bullet. Let me see. Rockstar. Let's see here. That's why I advocate for fighters. Let me put it up over here. That's why I advocate for fighters to be active. You may run into someone who might just beat you that no one knows. 100%, Roscoe. I'm in the same boat as you. I do the same thing. Activity is killing these fighters today. Man. For sure. I'm going to throw the link up actually in a minute. I also wanted to tap into, and I'm going to throw the link up just in case anybody want to jump in and hop in and build with the kid. I want to build a little bit also on this Gary Russell situation. You know what I mean? You guys saw Gary Russell putting it out there, got involved in the Tank Davis Lamont Roach conversation, gave his opinions on what he thought Tank was doing as far as what he classified Lamont Roach in comparison to a Tank Davis fight. And he pretty much shared a lot of thoughts that a lot of people are sharing in the space right now. What's good, COE? What Co-E Films, COE Films. What's good, family? And sharing his opinion on that, right? Sharing his opinion on how he felt about that, and got some pushback, obviously. But the pushback he got, what you would have thought have been maybe Tank Davis who had the pushback, turned out it was Lamont Roach. Lamont had the pushback and said, bro, we can, you know what I mean? There's opportunities out there to find out who run the city, because Gary Russell's point of view was if Tank Davis was really trying to make something happen in the DMV and he wanted the city to come out, ain't nobody gonna be able to come out like Gary do. What do y'all think about that situation? Is Gary Russell clout chasing right now? Is he clout chasing, or is he just speaking the truth? Ronald Green said Gary spoke the truth, but at 36, he just wants a payday. Yeah. I don't know if he just wants a payday. I think he definitely wants a payday, Rollo, without a doubt. He wants a payday, but I don't think he just wants a payday. I think he really got smoked. for Tank. I think Tank beats him, though. I think Tank does him dirty. I ain't going to lie to you. Salute 2 cents. Salute 2 cents. Salute 2 Rich. Oh, we got this decent little panel, man. What's good? How y'all doing tonight? How you doing?
What up?
What
I had to hop up real quick and get my 2 cents on the situation. But as far as Gary Russell is concerned, whoever just said that Gary spoke the truth, but he just wants a payday. It's looking like I got two perspectives with this, right? I'm gonna give you my first perspective. My first perspective is it's cool. You come on here, you talking shit about the fight. Maybe you can talk your way into a fight with Lamont Roach after the Tank fight at 130 for his belt, since he's still gonna have his belt. I'm thinking, if that's your goal, cool. But on the other hand, if he's not being that strategic, it's like, Gary, be quiet, bro. Be quiet. You fight at 126 pounds. You've been out of the ring damn near 3 years. You lost the last fight you fought. You lost the last fight you coached in. Like, you're not in any type of lane or position to be trying to call out Tank Davis. And for that reason, if it's not to get a fight or to potentially put yourself in position to fight Tank, because you're not even moving up in the weight classes. You're literally not doing anything but trying to talk your way into a Tank fight. Like, that's literally what you're doing. If Tank Davis would have accepted a fight from Gary Russell, he would have been clowned just unbelievably on this internet, because we all know how the moving up in weight and the long layoffs. We all already know how all of that stuff looks. So there would be no reason for Tank to even do that. It wouldn't even be a competitive fight. You coming off an injury, long layoff, loss, like all this kind of stuff. It doesn't make any sense. But if he's talking to put himself in a position to fight Tank, then that would be cool. Go to 130, win a belt there, defend your belt there. Maybe you could possibly get a fight in the next fight or two or something. If that's something that you really want to do, or you just want to sit back and try to shame Tank into having a fight with you because y'all from the same city. No, that's not how it works.
I don't think I think he was really aiming at Lamont. It seemed like I think he was more commenting on Tank's choice of Lamont Roach and saying if he was trying to get the best. The arguments to me seemed like what he was saying was the Lamont Roach fight isn't a DMV fight. It isn't a fight because the DMV. He said he's basically saying if it was about the DMV, then the person he should have pulled up is me to make that.
But that's what I'm saying. It don't matter what it's about. You're not an option, bro. That's what I'm saying. Unless you're trying to put yourself in the position for something later. If you talk, even if you're saying, "Oh, I'm the one out here. I'm the name out here. You should have picked me." The answer's still no. The answer's still no. Pick you for what?
I remember KO came up on Blues and I had brought that up because Gary was on there with Nook. They were getting ready to head out to Florida and Well Connected called in on the FaceTime and had Gary in the background. And I was like, "Oh, salute Gary." You know what I'm saying? I said, now that'd have been a fight I would love to have seen is Gary Russell. And, you know, KO came up like, "That's a crazy fight. That's Cap. You know, we would have been killing him. Y'all would have been killing a Tank." And I thought that was interesting. For me, I said the story is there. And I feel like with Lamont Roach, let's be honest. I don't know how you feel about it. Maybe you do feel this way about it, but I don't think anybody thinks Lamont Roach and Tank Davis is a competitive fight. I think
but Clay, you got to be honest, though. Would anybody have thought Gary Russell coming off that long layoff and the injury would have been a competitive fight moving up 2 weight classes? Nobody would have thought that was a competitive fight either. Y'all not being honest, bro. Come on.
No, I'm not saying necessarily it will be competitive. You know, Gary's special like that, but I acknowledge the 2.5 years layoffs. I acknowledge everything you said, and I thought those were all legitimate. But I do believe that Gary Russell would have sold more, would have been more of a name, would have been more of would have grabbed more interest. Would some people have pushed back at it? 100%, because you're right. He's sitting on a 2.5 year layoff and all these different things that you mentioned, which are all true. People would have pushed back at it. But I know, like me, I wouldn't have pushed back at it. I'd have been like, stay busy, Gary Russell. That's a name. I know Gary Russell fights at 126, but he's been talking for a long time that when he comes back, he's trying to come back at 135. He's been saying that in a bunch of little interviews here and there what he wanted to do. But I don't think that was necessarily the point of it. My thing is, if you're going to pick somebody small like that, like Lamont Roach, and it's not that Lamont Roach is small necessarily, but just somebody out the blue that nobody expect, Gary Russell was an equivalent choice to me. I think Lamont Roach is going to get the pushback he's getting, and I think Gary Russell would have got a little less pushback than Lamont Roach personally.
Man, I would have been like, that is stupid. Like, that's ridiculous.
You don't feel Lamont Roach is stupid?
Do I feel like it's stupid? No, I don't feel like it's stupid. I feel like, I mean, what better opponent could he, like, that was available? Like,
he had plenty of people, bro.
People. Name them.
De Los Santos was there, period.
Well, hold on. Claymore, let me clear it up about the De Los Santos. I read an article on Boxing Scene before his trainer came out and was like, oh, he was available. That said that he had a shoulder injury and he was going to be out for the rest of the year. I literally read this article on Boxing Scene. And so when his trainer came out and said that, I was like, y'all just said on Boxing Scene he was out for the rest of the year in the article.
Who the article said it, or De Los Santos' team said it?
That is, De Los Santos' team said it in the article I read about his shoulder injury and how he's not going to be able to fight for the rest of the year.
Who was it?
This was before any other Tank Talk. It was just like a random article because, you know, I read Boxing Scene.
All right. So there was an injury.
It was just a random article.
There was an injury that sat De Los Santos down. And I'm gonna bring Too Rich into here because I got people in the back trying to get in as well. But there was an injury that sat him down out of the Rayo Venezuela fight, right? That was a fight that was supposed to be happening. Rayo Venezuela and De Los Santos was supposed to be rematching. De Los Santos had an injury, and that's why he sat out of that fight. But my thing is this: Tank's team reached out to De Los Santos. They weren't aware of this article. They weren't aware of the injury situation. When they reached out to De Los Santos' team, Cello said he confirmed availability.
No, that's not. They said that he was injured.
That's not what Cello said.
That's not true, Clay. I'm telling you, I know it's like that's what they said, but I read the article, and then it was like as soon as
the Roach fight. What Cello said?
I'm talking about the article I read that said that he was injured.
I'm talking about Tank. I'm talking about De Los Santos' trainer, out of his mouth, said they got the call. They confirmed availability, and they said, "Why didn't the fight happen?" He said, "I don't know." They went with Lamont Roach. You didn't see that?
And see, no, I've seen that, and that's what I'm saying. When they came out and said that, I'm like, "Damn, why are they saying that?" When I just read the article where they said that he was going to be unavailable for the rest of the year. I know, you know what I'm saying? I'm like, why are y'all saying that when I already read? I know I hear what you're saying, but the article, it was before all of the
Yeah, but my thing is that the article is somebody's writing the article, right? Like some guy's writing the article, right? He got information and he's writing the article, right? Fine.
Right.
But does that trump the actual trainer speaking on video about what really happened? Because we have to acknowledge, yes, maybe the article has.
I'm not saying it trumps it, but I'm just saying that's kind of odd. And then on top of that, it's like, okay, now you got Tank going into it, huh?
Which way do we go with it when we have the actual trainer who's speaking, who's saying?
I'm not saying pick a side. I'm just saying this is what I read, and I thought it was odd that they were saying he was available. But let's say he was available. How competitive do you think that fight would be, coming off a loss and coming off an injury, where you just turned down one fight because you were injured, but now you're saying you're available for another fight? So are you healed miraculously all of a sudden? Are you straight?
Maybe, I don't know, but what I'm saying is Tank Davis's team reached out. Why did they reach out? They didn't know there was an injury.
I don't know.
Yeah,
I can't say. I'm just telling you from my perception when I was.
I understand where you're coming from, but there's other pieces to it that should be calculated into it as well. Yes, everything you said, plus they called, plus they acknowledged and they confirmed availability, plus they chose to go to Lamont Roach rather than doing that. When they called him, they called the team. So they had to take that into consideration. They had to be like, all right, is this dude healthy? Is this dude ready to go? He didn't say nothing to them on the phone to make them think that he was injured. So they're going to take an article over what?
No, I'm not saying that's why they made the decision. I'm just telling you my timeline of events that I've seen.
Right.
So, but it's like, so you turned down one fight because you was injured, but then now you can accept the other fight? I don't know. I'm just saying.
You're looking at it that way, which I see why you're looking at it that way. My question is, why was Tank's team looking at it that way? Like you looking at it that way, yes. Well, Tank's team wasn't looking at it like that because they called. They reached out to him. So they weren't looking at it, he was injured. And he didn't say nothing on the phone to them to make them think he was injured. Cello's like, we said we good to go. We ready to pop. Literally, De Los Santos is fighting on Tank's card. He's fighting that night on that card.
Is he?
Yes.
Who is he fighting? No, he's not.
Yes, he is. I can show you. De Los Santos is gonna be on that card, bro.
I don't think so, bro.
Hold on. If he's not gonna be on that card, they were talking about it. That's what Cello said. Cello said they're supposed to get a fight on that card. That's what Cello said. I can pull it up right here. Hold on. I can pull it up real quick. Hold on. Bear with me.
Well, if he getting a fight on the card, he might fight Tank next.
All right,
but somewhere coming down the line.
That's the question. If he fights on that card, does that prove that he was available?
Does it prove that he was available?
Yeah.
I mean, obviously, he's fighting the same night.
Okay, then. So that means that fight could have been a fight that could have been made, right? They could have fought each other, right?
I mean, they could have, but why would I want to fight you when you're coming off an injury after a loss?
I guess. I don't know. You called. That's why. You called like you were interested, but I guess you thought about it and decided.
Why would Tank not like what is it that De Los Santos has that would make you feel like his team would shy away from that fight?
Listen, I'm not saying that he feels threatened by De Los Santos, but I think without a doubt, De Los Santos is a more dangerous fighter for Tank than Lamont Roach is.
So do you think a fighter should fight a dangerous fight every single fight? I mean, I'm just asking because when these other fighters take these,
no, I'm saying you're a WBA, you're a 135 champion. You're on your last tour, right? You're doing 5-6 fights left on your tour of what you're saying is going to be when you're done with this. We might not see you no more. You fought Frank Martin, which I'm not going to call a tune-up. I'm not going to insult Frank Martin like that, but we know Frank wasn't ready to fight no Tank. You know what I'm saying? That was a Tank, you know what I mean? That wasn't like, you know what I mean, a super dangerous fight like that. Frank Martin wasn't fighting a dangerous fight. He was fighting a survival fight. Shout out to Frank Martin. Every fight needs to be dangerous? No. But this fight was supposed to be against Lomachenko. So that was going to be a dangerous fight within itself, a competitive fight. De Los Santos, like you said, coming off of a loss, how dangerous? He's in the division. You pick the division fighter. You pick the fighter who's in your division. The guy who you called. who you thought about fighting because you probably were thinking the same thing. But then boom, you go, I don't know. Let me bring
so okay, real quick, let me get your opinion on this. What did you think about Shakur Stevens Cordina fight?
I mean, are we having a separate conversation now?
No, I'm asking because it's kind of like
I just want to know. We're leaving the Tank one alone right now because this is
real quick. I just want to get your perspective on that real quick. Okay. That's
I believe Shakur Stevens. I'm not comparing them to each other. I believe Shakur.
No, I just want to know your perspective. Right. No comparison.
Shakur Stevenson against Cordina. That wasn't a fight that I was looking to happen. You know what I'm saying? I believe the reason it happened is because of money. It was because of an opportunity to be on one of the biggest cards of the year, which is the Better Beef Bivol card. I believe that was also opening up a relationship with Turki Al-Sheikh for bigger and better things down the line. I believe that's what was available in front of him. I believe who he was trying to fight was William Zepeda. William said he was having a baby. He wasn't going to be available. So he took a fight, the next fight there, that was a fight that Matchroom could put together, that Eddie Hearn could put together with Joseph Cordina and get him on a card that he felt like was going to expose him to an international fan base, an international platform that he was starting to try to reinvent, and he's trying to build some market value in himself. But personally, just to keep it simple, was it a fight I was looking for? No, I'm not going to lie to you. That's not a fight I'm looking for. But I think Shakur Stevenson doesn't have as many options as Tank Davis does. I think Tank Davis is the face of boxing. He's an A-side guy. He can call out fighters. He can send out offers and make big fights. Shakur is not in that position. He's trying to build himself up. So I just think it's two separate conversations for sure. But was I looking for him to fight Joe Cordina? Hell no. Man, hell no. Not at all.
One more question. What makes you think that? Never mind. Go ahead.
All right. Too Rich. What's good, family? Sorry about that, King.
Hey, no problem. What's going on, 2 Cent? All right. The Gary Russell thing. Now, if I'm not mistaken, Gary Russell was doing an interview and he was asked a question, right?
Right.
Okay. So, a lot of people like, well, Gary Russell shouldn't just say nothing. I mean, he was asked the question. And I think the important part is to realize it's no more the Haniacs, as they say, that's, saying something about this fight. The mainstream now is starting to criticize Tank Davis. It's not just Gary Russell. If you listen to Pro Boxer, if you listen to Sean Zattel, of course, Tim Bradley, and whatever that show he's on with the other mainstream guy, all of these guys are calling out the fight. It's not just the Haney team or the Terrence Crawford fans or whatever. It's the mainstream now. They very, they feel like this fight is very underwhelming, and it is to a certain extent. It is, and I don't think Gary Russell should shut his mouth without criticizing this fight. Everybody criticizing the fight. Tank had choices. He called everybody. He just sent who he wanted to send an offer to. And like I say, if you look at the interview with Lamont Roach on Cigar Talk, they had already talked about this fight. Lamont Roach was considered an opponent before Hector Garcia was. So when Tank fought Hector Garcia, they was considering Lamont Roach for that. They called Lamont Roach, said out of his mouth, they called him for that fight. But they went with Hector Garcia. So and then when he saw Tank at the pool party, they say, hey, handle your business, stay ready. We might get some money together. So if you ask me, Lamont Roach was on the list. This been planned. It was just about time. And Lamont Roach said that he was surprised it happened so fast because he was assuming, I'm assuming Tank was gonna fight Loma, but that fell through. So now here goes Lamont Roach. Now, with all that said, I understand the criticism. I understand all that. But me purposely, I did a short today, and basically what I was saying is I actually like the fight. I actually like the fight because I don't think of Tank Davis how most people think of Tank Davis. It's been Tank Davis almost 30 years old. He never fought a pound for pound fighter. He never fought a number one fighter. He never unified. Okay, you ain't got to keep telling me. I see what's going on, So I understand that Leonard Ellerby always say Tank can make 130 pounds. So everybody's too big for Tank. Everybody's too big. Tank is a 130-pound fighter. He's fighting at 135, but everybody's outgrowing him. So he really should be fighting for Lamont Roach belt at 130. Now, I got Tank favored, of course. I got Tank favored to win the fight. But I think it's going to be more competitive than people think. because I think they on the same playing field. They got familiarity in the amateurs, and we saw how that played out with Ryan and Devin. But I do understand that it's an underwhelming fight for Tank at 135. He got all those options, but I don't think Tank has shown me he's not trying to take. He don't want to be great. He want to make money. So he's fighting another 130-pound fighter. He really is a 130-pound fighter. Hey, let's see if Lamont Roach can do it. You know, I like Lamont Roach though. I like his character, and I don't think he's coming in there to sell his chin. I think he's coming in there to win. So I'm kind of rooting for him.
So let me ask you a question: If Tank's goal is to not to be great and to make money, what is there to be upset about? Like, you can't hold these fighters to things that aren't their own goals.
Okay, so but how do you know it's not?
If his goal is to, that's what Too Rich just said. It said his goal is not to be great, it's to make money. That's exactly what he's doing. So
But he just said his goal was to go undisputed. So okay, excluding that, what is his goal? Because I hear a lot of different things in the channels. Here's the thing that I think about this. I think the fans that say that they support Tank Davis are not his fans. I think if they really were his fans, they do want to see him fight the best. I think we're too busy holding his hand and seeing, wherever his team leads him, let him fight, and we just accept it. That's a big problem in itself. To say that Gary Russell,
y'all acting like this is his last fight. Y'all acting like this is his last fight of his career.
Okay, but it's also his 6th fight pick apart fight, right? He said he had 6 guys he wanted to take their heads off. I'm just saying. So what is it? I'm pretty sure if Lamont Roach was there, if Lamont Roach is there, why ain't we giving him the same criticism if you talk to him in 2022 that we gave Dev for moving to 140 and talking about it in an article? Why ain't we criticizing him on that?
What criticism did Dev get for moving to 140?
When they said that Devin was moving to 140 to fight Reach, he wasn't really serious. Well, he wasn't really serious about fighting Shakur or Tank, and he got a lot of criticism over it. Why ain't we giving Tank that same criticism? Because at the same time,
giving him the same criticism.
I'm just saying. I'm just telling you. You guys are criticizing him for the same things that you criticize the other fighters for. You're also giving him a pass on everything else because you're allowing him to fight. You're allowing him to fight a guy from 130.
You're acting like he wasn't trying to make the fight with Loma.
When he didn't even pull a guy up from 130, the guy from 130 moved up on his own and was in the ranking system. So how are we sitting here again? There's two different situations.
But how is he not doing? He tried to make the fight with Loma. Loma dropped out of the fight.
Okay. So then why did he go to Shakur? Is Shakur on his list?
How is he?
Isn't Shakur on his list? But he had a list.
You already know why
he had a list. I didn't put out the list. Tank put out the list. Go ahead.
Wait. Let me just COE Films with the $5 holler, man. I appreciate you, family. Thank you, King. Yeah, but y'all talking over each other, so it's kind of hard to kind of get what's.
Yeah, I was trying to finish up so I can go back. But go ahead. I'm about to punch in, so y'all go wrap it up. I'm out. Thank you, though.
Salute to you, Ray.
Peace.
What's up, guys?
Okay, what's going on?
Let me land with something real quick. Yo, so when it comes to that whole Gary Russell thing, right? I actually said it prior to even Gary Russell coming out. Gary Russell was like 100% right. When this Lamont Roach versus Tank fight first got announced, people were saying it's like DC versus B-More. I'm like, no, it's not, because Lamont Roach is a fighter from DC, but he was never one of those guys from DC, you know? He was never, and the Russells are always known in DC. They've been known since like the amateur years. So if you want that DC versus B-More war, you need somebody like the Russells, somebody that's like known in the city to be one of those guys, you know? And the Russells would have been a perfect, even if it's not Mr. Gary Russell Jr., you know, it could have been Antoine or somebody. You know, all of them have the same name, and they all can fight. You know, so like any of them could have been a contender. Maybe not Antonio. Antonio might be too small, but at least Antoine, at least, you know. You know, and I was saying before, I said, listen, like the Russells have a long lineage. You know, first off, all of them are named Gary Russell. Each and every one of the brothers named Gary Russell. They went in tournaments together, and they were all winning at the same time. You know, so they have a big name in the DMV. You know, as far as the Lamont Roach fight being like a popular fight, I mean, it's a one-off fight, you know, and that's just what it is. It's a guy coming up to do a one-off, you know, for whatever reason. And I think at that point, if it's gonna be a one-off, to me, you know, I mean, the brother can fight who he wants, you know, but to me, you want to make it like a a fight that'll be a little bit more exciting for the fans. You know, I think Del Santos, even though he's coming off a loss, it wasn't like he got punished. You know, and it will at least line them up with Shakur. You know, if he was able to knock out Del Santos, then people will make an argument that damn, look, Shakur had to like run for 12 rounds while Tank knocked him out. You know, versus if he beats Lamont Roach, nothing's gonna be said. Like, what does that mean? It means nothing. It's just a one-off fight. You know, no title will be exchanged. Nothing. He just beat Lamont Roach. It'll be like happen.
Hey, let me say that to clarify my point. I understand Tank is not fighting the fight. I've been critical of Tank, but I just don't expect Tank. He has shown me that you can't expect him to take the steps that you want him to take. Like I say, he's almost 30. He never fought a pound-for-pound fighter. What do you expect him to do? You expect him to get 30 years old and now he's going to fight all these hard fights? He's showing you what he's going to do. He's showing a pattern. So I just don't expect him. I think his team knows his flaws somewhere. The reason why they don't want to put him in there with certain fighters. And I just think he's more comfortable fighting smaller fighters. And I just think that's his lane. He's just not the guy I think we think he is.
What you mean?
What I'm saying is Hector Garcia was 130. Hell, Luis Santa Cruz 126.
But then
was Leo Santa Cruz not a champion at 130?
He wasn't a super champion.
Was he a champion at 130?
No. I don't know what a champion is. Only one champion. There's only one champion, a super champion. All the other Reggie belts don't mean nothing.
Come on, was he a champion at 130?
The Reggie belts don't mean nothing. It's a lot of champions that don't mean nothing.
Was he a champion?
Let's keep it 100 also. Now, and I want to bring COE Films in here too, by the way. But at the end of the day, Leo Santa Cruz was a 120, 118, 122, 126. That's what he did. You know what I'm saying? Like, I mean, when he was 130, he was doing great stuff. He was chasing greatness. And look, that was a great fight between him and Tank Davis. We're gonna give him.
Was he a champion at 130 though?
In my opinion, he had a belt at 130. Yes, you know what I'm saying.
Okay, that's all I'm saying.
No,
look, when you say champion, right? Like when you say like undisputed, right?
Being a small dude, he was a small dude. He's a small fighter who was fighting in a way. It's like Mikey Garcia and Errol Spence damn near. You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, Mikey went up there and fought at 147, but everybody know Mikey was a little dude. You know what I'm saying? He was a great fighter, and he could do things better than regular fighters. But at the end of the day, he was a small dude. You know what I mean? Leo Santa Cruz was a small dude, but
he was a champion though. Y'all act like he was just a regular dude in the division. He obviously went up there and beat some people and became one of the best in the division.
We got
fighter, but he's a small dude at the same time.
Yeah, he's a good fighter, but the thing is, even with the championships, right? When you become undisputed, they don't look at those secondary titles for undisputed.
No, exactly. So let me give you an example. Hey, let me give you an example.
Like you're the number one contender type stuff, you know. Like for instance, Goldie had a title Wayne Fontaine, but nobody considers him a champion at 130, you know.
Hey, let me give you a perfect example. Tim Tszyu had an interim belt, right? And he beat somebody, knocked somebody out. But he didn't have a real belt. He got elevated after Jermell Charlo got stripped. So Tim Tszyu never successfully defended that belt. And to me, that's a difference. We giving Tim Tszyu a lot of credit, but he actually hadn't done that. He didn't successfully defend his actual belt, not the Reggie belts. Like Mario Barrios had. Those were Reggie belts. They were not real belts. They were not super champions.
Yeah.
They were
if he had beat Josh Taylor,
I mean, we can go back and forth all night about this belt stuff. If you want to discredit champions.
No, you really can't. You really can't, though. You really can't.
If he had beat Josh Taylor instead of Mario Barrios, he would have been a powerful.
Can you hear me, Clay?
Yeah, yo, fellas, hold on a second. Let me bring COE in the building. I really haven't even heard him. Salute, COE. How you doing, family?
Yeah, what's up, man? How you doing?
I'm doing good, family. Thank you for the color in the chat too. I appreciate you, King.
Oh yeah, no doubt, bro. No doubt. Keep grinding, G. Yeah. So this is my thing right here. When I'm talking about paying money, when I'm talking about investing in something that I want to see, and when I'm looking at what the sport is supposed to be about, it's supposed to be about greatness, you know, proving you are the best. and also making some money. So this is where this is where the slippery slope comes in. At. Are you gonna be about the money or are you gonna be about the greatness? You got to pick which one. You can't straddle the fence. Now you can do both. If I feel like if you go after greatness, you're going to get the money. Okay, so don't just go after the money and not trying to be great. You know what I'm saying? Because now when you do that, you playing with my money. And see, and I don't like people to play with my money because if I'm gonna support you, I need to see the fights that I want to see. You know what I mean? So let's stick right there when you're talking about the money, because you gotta respect the dollar. You gotta respect the people that's paying you, because that's the only way you're gonna keep getting them to support you. If not, you're gonna find them, you're gonna find yourself getting fire stick. You know what I'm saying? And that's tend to where the sport is going now. When you get to talking about competition, Tank has to me, he's a great fighter. I like how he do his thing, but when it comes to the facts being laid out there, you have to look at who has he been fighting in his weight class. Have he unified the belts at this point, at this stage in his life, compared to previous fighters? Have he? These are the questions you have to ask yourself in order for you to really stand behind the moves that he's making. Because if he's making moves and they're not if they're not in agreement to what the way greatness is supposed to be, then you got to say, well, you're not trying to be great. You just want to get my dollar, bro. Just if you want to get my dollar, just say, hey, look, I need y'all to support this fight. You know, I know it ain't what you want, but hey, this what I'm about. I'm not trying to go be great. Just say that. Don't keep on acting like or saying, hey, you the face of boxing and you're doing this and you're doing that, because you got fighters like Terrence Crawford. You got fighters like Madrimov. You got, I mean, not Madrimov, but Beterbiev. You got fighters like Bivol. You got fighters like that that's really out here going against the best. Like, I mean, they putting it on the line. You can't say this fight is a 50-50 fight. Can you say Frank and Tank was a 50-50 fight? No. Can you say Tank and Lamont was a 50-50 fight? No. Can you say Tank and Barrios was a 50? So
can you say what's a 50-50 fight? Can you tell me what's a 50-50
fight where you don't know who's gonna win? It's a fight that's gonna be competitive. A competitive fight. No. Like,
no, I'm saying who. You saying everybody he fought wasn't. I'm saying who is a 50-50 fight? Yeah.
I mean, that's what I want you to tell me.
Yeah. I don't know about all of them being 50-50, but there's more competitive fights than others. There's fights that are competitive. Yeah. You know
Although
what I mean?
So Martin was a good fight, though. I won't discredit that fight. I just think he's just not fighting the super champ. I think the problem with Tank, he's not fighting the super champions, and he needs to. Like, there's no reason why
that's where I was going.
Somebody becomes.
That's where I was going with it. 2 cents. 2 cents. That's where I was going with it. Like, if you're gonna spend your money, right? Would you rather spend your money on a Shakur and Tank fight or a Tank and Lamont Roach?
I mean, I would like to see the Shakur fight.
So that's what I'm saying. So if that's how you got to look at it, you got to say, hey,
but okay, that's one fight. He can't make that one fight every single fight. So that's one fight that didn't happen this time. Who else is 50-50 fight?
Listen, hold on. You want me to give you fights he can make? He could have made Shakur. Shakur's a fight to make.
He couldn't have made that fight. That fight wouldn't have happened. He broke his hand. So
yeah, but he didn't try to make it though. He didn't try to make it either. Shakur already had another fight. He was getting ready to fight Joe Cordina, so we don't need to act like that's the reason why the fight didn't get put together.
Right.
Teofimo, Devin Haney. He could fight Dela Santos.
Teofimo is at 141, and he's definitely not available. He's in litigation.
I would take Crawford round. He 100% available. Teo said it as well. Teo said in an interview he was one of the monkeys he called out, right? So
he's in litigation with Top Rank, y'all. He's not about to fight.
Litigation.
Look, why we acting like that fight wasn't made with some litigation, bro? We know he just wasn't making that fight.
Because he's litigating his contract with Top Rank. How he gonna make a fight?
So outside of that litigation, you saw the fight getting ready to be made?
What fight was about to be made?
Teofimo and Tank. You saying the litigation is the reason why Tank didn't pursue that fight?
I'm not saying that's the reason why, but I'm saying even if he wanted to fight, he's in litigation about his contract with Bob Arum. They wouldn't have made no fight right now.
You said even if he didn't make a fight, he didn't want to fight, right?
He can still be in litigation and still make a fight.
No, you can't, bro. Not if you arguing about your contract and what fights you got left on the contract and all of that shit. You're not finna make a fight in the middle of litigation with the company your contract is with about your contract. Come on, y'all.
Look, I don't know how those things work that way, so I'm not gonna comment.
I can't speak on that.
Right. Teofimo was making it clear or making it look like he was available to take advantage of opportunities to fight Terrence and Tank Davis.
He's capping. He's trying to stay relevant because Bob about to put his ass on the shelf. So
Kid Austin will be a better fight than Lamar Roach. Am I wrong, guys? Kid Austin will be a better.
Yeah, that would have been a great fight, Kid Austin. That would have been a great fight. That would have been a great fight.
So y'all think that fight could have been made? Seriously?
Yeah.
Why not? You got at least
how many? Hold on. Let's talk through this logically. How many fights Kid Austin got?
What does that mean?
No, just answer the question. I'm making a point.
That question don't matter.
I'm making a point. I'm making a point.
Number 2 in the WBA rankings.
I'm making a point. Y'all gonna let me make my point or not?
No, you asked a question, right? I'm just saying.
I'm saying. How many fights does he have?
I don't know. How many does he have? Like 17, something like that. 15. Yeah.
What promotional company does he fight under?
Golden Boy.
Golden Boy.
Oh yeah. What does that mean?
So do y'all think that Golden Boy is going to continue to build a fighter that's ranked number 2, or they gonna feed him the Tank?
Feed him the Tank like they did Ryan Garcia.
And do you think it's enough money involved to make a cross-promotional fight for everybody to get paid what they want to get paid and take home what they want to take home?
Listen, Floyd Schofield Sr. and Jr. already spoke on it and said that at the end of the day, they don't care what the pay was. They weren't tripping about the pay. They said they were willing to donate their pay.
That's the same thing Brian Norman was saying at the beginning too.
Well, you got at least try though. You have to come to the table. You can't just be like, "Oh,
yeah, that don't work, man. That don't work."
Yeah, you got to at least try it. If we fall apart, at least we know the Brian Norman.
Yeah, these promotional companies about to feed up their best prospects right now. They not about
their best prospect. I don't know, but like.
Oh, I was right. He does have 17.
But he's ranked number 2. Like he's gonna fight Zepeda. Zepeda is also somebody that could beat him too. But at the end of the day, if they want to fight and they're calling for it, call his bluff.
Hold up. So this is where I was going. Hey, let me ask 2 cents this. I was asking her this. If tell me which fight you want to see. Lamar Roach or Shakur Stevenson? You said you rather see Shakur Stevenson, right?
Yes, I'd rather see Shakur Stevenson.
Okay, so what about Frank Martin and Shakur Stevenson? Which one you rather see?
Shakur Stevenson.
So that's all. Okay, so if that's two fights back to back that Tank has fought the last 2, and I done heard you say Shakur Stevenson twice. So my question to you is, why are you not pushing for Shakur Stevenson?
I was pushing for Shakur Stevenson, but they didn't make the fight.
So,
when it was Loma and they were saying, I was like, I hope he make the fight with Shakur. I want him to make the fight with Shakur. They didn't make the fight.
Look, we watched Benavidez demand Morrell. We watched Benavidez demand Morrell fight, and he got the fight. We watched Charlo press the fight for Andrade. We need to see Tank pressing for these fights. I guarantee you he can make these fights if he presses for them.
That's where I was going with it. That's where I was going with it because I want 2 cents to get on the page to where I want her to be like, hey, like damn, like okay, I'm spending my money.
Who he need to press?
But he need to press Shakur.
PBC.
He need to press. I see he pressed Devin. I see he pressing Devin, but that's the only energy I see he got for
He pressed no Devin. He can't be no fight.
Well, he ain't pressing Devin, but I see him responding to Devin, putting up memes and putting up
He just making
posts
fun
on
of
Twitter.
Devin. He ain't trying to fight Devin. He just making fun of him.
He just made fun
Yeah,
of him.
I know. But what I'm saying is, if you're doing all that and you putting that energy towards that, I guaranteed you, if he was fighting Shakur, the money that he's looking for right now, that money would be, I guaranteed you, him and Shakur can sell over 600,000 tickets. Easy.
So why you think the fight not? I mean, why? What does he need? If you could tell him right now, this what you need to do. What would you tell him? Like, why you think it's not happening? Because he's just not sending the contract.
No, I got the reason.
This what I could tell. This what I tell him. I tell him, say, listen, you have to tell Al and your team to get out the way and let you be great. Because if it's not you not wanting to fight, and if it's the big wigs that's in the way, then that's what you need to tell to get out the way. But according to his team, Tank the one that make the fights. If Tank the one that if he wanna make a fight, he's the one that's gonna say, he's the one that's gonna have the last say so. So I'm just going by his team and what they have said. So if his team said that, then it leads me to believe that he's the only one that can call the shots. So that's all I need him to do is just pull the trigger and send,
I agree with that. I mean, at the end of the day, PBC is not a promotional company. Al Heyman is not a promoter, right? So he
the advisor, so quote unquote advisor.
And PBC is a show. Just
it's
like
a TV show. Yeah, it's a TV show.
So so when it's perspective, you would want to, unless they, it's different, when you're in there, but you would think that it's his team that's calling out. But I think the real reason is, honestly speaking, I don't know if it might not even be Tank. I think at the end of the day, they look at the Amazon Prime deal, right? And you realize that Tank Davis and you look at Canelo are the biggest money makers currently for them, right? So they're not going to put him in with killers until the end of his career. So I never expected the Tank versus Shakur fight to happen. I always wanted it to happen, but I think what they're gonna do, if there's a 6-fight deal really in place, I think they're gonna push it towards the end because it's the only thing that makes up, from a business standpoint, it makes sense, right? You want your biggest fight to be towards the end so you can start doing build-ups and stuff like that.
Well, my thing is this. Let me ask y'all this, and y'all give me y'all honest opinion. Do you think it's a such thing as a Ponzi scheme inside the sport of boxing?
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, of course.
Every kind of scheming. Yeah, 100%.
So if it's a such thing as a Ponzi scheme, the way that PBC moves to me, it's almost like they wait for Canelo to fight so they can get some money in so they can put on a fight here. They won't Tank the fight so they can pay here. It just looked like that's the only way they can stage these fights. And then if they put on fights, you get stuff like Tim Tszyu and the guy he fought the other night. Yeah.
That I understand what you're basically saying. I don't know if I'm going to say Ponzi scheme, but I do understand what you're saying. You're basically saying they robbing Peter to pay Paul. What I'm saying? Like they need a big event to make money so they can take that money and pay for another event. I think all that. I think what you're tapping into is the conversation of how is the business model of the PBC set up now with the new structure of Amazon Prime, where with Showtime seemed to be providing a certain amount of money up front to give them the space to make these big cards, and it seems like Amazon's being a little more stingy. They're a little bit more controlling with the way they're letting the money out, and the PBC has to count every dollar, and it seems like this new business model is getting in the way of PBC putting out the biggest events it put out. At least enough of say our appetite for the fights as fans that we want to see, and not only appetite but also what they predicted, which is 10 to 12 or 12 to 14 fights for the events for the year. I think that's fair to say, but I wanted to stress on that and say, as far as Tank Davis is concerned, 2 Cent, and everybody else, Tank fans, boxing fans all around the world, at the end of the day, when you call somebody the A side, or when you call somebody the face of boxing, certain things come with that, and it's real simple. It's not complicated. The face of boxing, like Canelo Alvarez, makes the fights he wants to make happen. That's just how it goes. He makes the fights, and if he doesn't make the fights happen, he tries to make the fights happen. He sends out he opens a line of communications. He follows up those communications with offers. He follows those communications up with opportunity, so those fighters that he wants to fight have something to respond to. Yes, no, counter offer, whatever it's going to be. The A side has the weight on their shoulder to open the line of communication for the fight, and until they do it, it hasn't been done. And that's what people are asking for Tank Davis to do. It's that simple. There's nothing else. There's no excuses to make for it, because at the end of the day, we can make 100 excuses, but we know the reality is until Tank puts an effort in, we can't even get to these other excuses. We can't get to those conversations. We can't talk about Shakur's injuries. We can't talk about Teofimo's litigations. We can't talk about De Los Santos's injuries. We can't talk about anything, because at the end of the day, he hasn't sent an offer. He hasn't made it.
Didn't you just say he talked to some of these people though? Didn't Shakur say he talked to him? Didn't De Los Santos tell you they talked to them? Like you don't know what these conversations were.
He ain't sending no offers. We know that.
Wait. Hold on. We do know, because what happens is people don't want to give the credit to these other people. They don't want, when Shakur says they said they were going to call back and they didn't want to call back, people want to jump into why he's a liar. When De Los Santos says he doesn't know why they make the fight, it looks like they went with Lamont Roach. They want to say, oh, well, we don't know, he was injured, even though he's sitting right on here, and I have it right here where he says he was available to fight. When Teofimo says, yo.
So is he on the undercard, Clay? Is he on the undercard?
I don't think the card's been put out yet, but I'm pretty sure I can show you where Cello's saying that they're going to be on the undercard. Cello's saying that Cello said they've been offered to fight on the undercard right here. I can play the video if you want me to. Where Cello said,
I was just curious because I hadn't heard that he was on the undercard.
No,
I was just saying that he found the fight.
I don't think the card's been put together yet, so I have no like factual like documentation to say that that's what's happening. But I have the and like I said, if he's not, he's not. But once again, if he is on that card, then it's official that injury shit is hype, and that fight could have happened as well with Tank as much as it is against whoever he's fighting on that undercard.
Yo, Claymore, but let me ask you something real quick. Do you think, let's say Tank, let's just say Tank loses, right? Do you think the PBC can suffer like a hit like that? I feel like they can't suffer a hit, major hits like Tank or Canelo losing. Yeah, I don't think so.
No, that's why the moves are being made. That's the same thing. Why? That's the same thing. Why?
Shout out here for boxing. Yo, shout out here for boxing. With some color in the chat with the $5. Salute to the brothers who don't call 911. That's hilarious. I know what he's talking about. You stupid. All right. Go ahead,
so what I was saying was that's the reason why those belts are being strategically placed and being strategically moved, because if you look at the Jermell Charlo situation, I mean, that situation with Jermell is one of the most ridiculous situations in boxing that I ever seen, because you are an undisputed champ. Now, I get you want to go up and be great, but the only reason why you went up to be great is because you knew Crawford was coming. So the whole point of him going up there to do that was to get that bag so he can sit back for a little bit and for them belts to get moved. That's why those belts scattered. And that's why they scattered amongst the PBC.
So you think he knew he was gonna get stripped?
Exactly.
Yeah.
He did.
They told him that. Yeah,
they told him. Let me say this.
What does that have to do with Crawford though?
But look, if you ever look up some stuff.
Hold up. Let me break it down to her real quick, Rich. I'm gonna let you get it. She want to know what they got to do with Crawford. Well, Crawford was at 147, and he was moving up to 154. He looked at Jermell Charlo in the ring while he was beating Spence from pillar to post and said, "I'm coming." So at that moment, you knew right then he was coming. So that was a strategic move, because nobody was asking for Jermell to fight Canelo. Nobody wasn't asking for that. We was looking for Jamal to fight Canelo since he was at 160. nobody wasn't asking for 154 Jamel to fight. And you know,
Canelo asked for Jamel, I heard.
No,
nah,
Jamal couldn't fight.
Yeah,
I
Jamal couldn't
know. So he was like, give me the brother.
Right. But we were just saying that was a contingency plan. That was a
Let me say that, Clay. If you look up some stuff on Al Heyman, you'll find what Al Heyman like to do is control a division. Now they all might do that to a certain extent. So when Crawford got to 147, PBC was in control of 147. Okay, Crawford becomes undisputed, so he takes 147 from the PBC, and he tells Jermell Charlo, "I'm coming to 154." So if he come to 154, he could take all the belts at 154 too.
Yep.
So they send Jermell Charlo up there to fight Canelo, disperse the belts, and the PBC fighters get the belts, so they can control the division. Now, if you look at 135. That's kind of like what Bob Arum did. He had control of 135, and that's why Tank say the belts don't matter, because they didn't have control of the division. So it's something that they all do when they trying to control a division. And let me say this last thing, and I got to get out of here. I want to respond to the Tim Tszyu thing that y'all was talking about earlier. What I want to see when it's a black fighter, we hear about ticket sales, we hear about pay-per-views, and any kind of slander we can give to a black fighter. They tried to make Tim Tszyu a star. They tried to make him a star. He had a showcase with Fundora. That pay-per-view did about 20,000. Ain't nobody talking about it. Here you got another showcase with Tim Tszyu, and it was only about 1,000 people at that event. So we need to hear from these PBC fans that Tim Tszyu don't sell. He don't do numbers, and he got his ass whooped. So I'm not really ready to give him a pass. If it was Devin, if it was Shakur, that's all we would hear. They don't sell. They all this crap they do to slander them, but they seem to act like Tim Tszyu some kind of warrior. At the end of the day, he got his ass whooped and couldn't get out the way of the left hook. Same way Devin did. So I want to see if they're going to slander Tim Tszyu the same way, or if they're going to protect their PBC fighter. But anyway, I'm going to get out of here, man. Salute Clay, man. I'm going to try to jump back in the chat in about 30 minutes.
Yo,
Okay.
Salute to you too, Rich.
All right, salute.
Yo, that's why I believe turkey is good for the sport, because at the end of the day, like when you really look at where PBC is at, and I can't, I'm just speculating a little bit. I feel like Tank and Canelo are such fragile commodities to them right now that they can't afford them to lose at this moment. But
they can't.
Yeah, they can. Like I think if that's just a huge hit.
So has Canelo lost before?
Yes, but he's on a run right now. So like, let's say.
But I'm saying you're acting like just because you lose, like that's it, it's gonna be over. It's not.
Yeah, but we're talking about Tim right now.
No, we're talking about where PBC is at. So like, PBC used to be with Showtime.
We're just talking about fighters taking a loss. You can get so big, you could take a loss. It's not gonna just completely.
It doesn't. But
no. What he's talking about? What is he talking about? Is if Canelo fight Benavidez at 168 for those belts, then it's a wrap. He don't control 168 no more. Yeah, and that was just what Rich was saying. And just like 154, if Crawford would have came and fought Jamel and took them belts, then he has no control of the division no more. At that point in time, all his fighters got to get in line to get what they can get at that point. You know what I mean? So,
but that's the same thing I'm saying about Tank as far as him getting those belts at 135 when Bob got control of them.
But that's Tank's how you try. Tank's been there for years. I don't know. I can't give that.
But Bob has had the belt.
You're right. You're right.
More, yeah,
but you the A side. But see, this what Clay was saying.
Yeah.
What Clay was saying. If you're the A side, if you're the A side, you the face of boxing. You have the power to say, "Hey, I want to make that fight because you're a payday." You just kind of basically.
I just heard Bob Arum say out his own mouth in the video, "Why would I make big fights for Tank?"
Why
would I make big fights for Tank? I'm going to keep the belts and keep them for my guy. That's he literally said that out his own mouth.
So at the end of the day, like these promoters will say anything. Like at the end, and Bob Arum also said that Floyd Mayweather was hiding Tank, using Lomachenko as punishment. Like,
but we're talking about his business model. He wants to keep the belt for leverage.
The Lomachenko fight was about to happen, and that's Bob Arum's star pupil. So, like, those fights could at least try. My thing is like Tank doesn't even come to the table. It'll be different if he came to the table and then we see like
when he just was at the table with Loma.
Hold on a second. Salute. We got 52 people in the building. Thank you for the love. Please hit that like button. Go ahead, Sam. My bad. Go ahead, man.
I don't even know.
Yeah, so I mean,
it's my bad. I done threw the whole energy off. My bad. But let me just tap in just to say this, right? Let me just tap in to say this. As far as champions, as far as people losing, that's not a big deal. Losing's okay. It's boxing. This is the price you pay when the best fight the best, right? Somebody's gonna lose. We don't have to act like we're putting weight on the loss being like the end of the PBC. I don't know if that's like how it's coming full circle, but I do think at the end of the day, I've been 2 cents since you've been coming on this channel, since I created this channel, since this channel really started taking any type of step, I think any type of footing. I think we all know that I've always questioned the PBC's deal with Amazon. I've always had questions about it. A lot of people painting like I'm hating on the PBC. It's not about that. It's just that it's not transparent, right? I don't understand the way the deal is structured, and I don't understand the way the deal is structured in the sense of how events are put together. What is Amazon responsible for? What is the PBC responsible for? What has Amazon agreed to facilitate, and what is on the PBC's shoulders to facilitate? Now, the PBC started the year off saying they were going to do 10 to 12, 12 to 14 events for the year. We know that's not happening right now, right? We know they're pushing it right now just by separating Tank and David Benavidez and putting them on their same cards. Tank's card was supposed to pop off in November. That got pushed out to December because of Lomachenko. So we have all these different moving parts to the situation, and what we don't understand is how is the PBC funding these events? And it looks like from the outside looking in like they're having a hard time facilitating these events. It just that's how it looks. It may not be that. It may be a bunch of other things that we're not aware of. We're not in these meetings, but from the outside looking in, it's hard to separate that and just kind of like put that to the side and not acknowledge the elephant in the room. What's going on with the PBC? So if they're depending on Tank Davis and Canelo Alvarez to make the money, to make the biggest events, to get big revenue on them so that they can put other fights together, well, then that's a weird situation. And in that conversation, if Tank were to take a loss or Canelo were to take a loss in the wrong way or something like that, maybe it could hurt the bottom line of the PBC. I don't know. I don't know what's going on. You know what I'm saying? So are they protecting Tank? I don't know. I'm not saying they are, they aren't, but I am going to say that we got to stop constantly ignoring this elephant in the room, like acting like this isn't something that we all see happen. It's like watching.
Well, like I've always said about it, they're just in a rebuilding phase. They're on a whole new, brand new network.
But but they're on the rebuilding phase. But does the rebuilding phase mean that I saw Steven Espinosa say something very interesting the other day? He said on an interview, that he feels like Amazon is starting to become more comfortable with the way PBC is doing business, and he's expecting more events to pop off because of that. When I hear that, you know what that tells me? That means Amazon's not completely in. That means they're not all the way vested into.
Well, it's new to them, and they're trying to understand this and how it works. Not necessarily that they're not completely in. They're getting more comfortable because they're getting more understanding.
Says,
but
look, they get more comfortable, and as they become more comfortable, he feels like there's going to be more events. That means
it's a new venture for them, and now they seeing how it works and how shit go. They willing to do more of it.
Yeah, but they're holding. So it's saying that they're holding their. It sounds like Steven Espinosa and the PBC are still pitching events to Amazon. Like they're pitching them events, and Amazon is saying yes or no to events. The way a deal would look like that, I would think that would make sense, is that here's a budget.
But how could they say yes or no to events if they don't even know how it works? So could they just be getting more comfortable and understanding?
This is a $1 billion company, right?
I get it.
It's $1 million company, right? They have lawyers and all types of people at the table before they even agree to go into business with the PBC. I find it hard to believe that they're going to go into a business deal as big as this and be in the business deal not knowing how the business deal is going to work out.
Hey, Clay, check this out. Check this out, Clay.
Hold on 1 second. I think what more than likely is happening is
but that's why they're getting more comfortable.
No, yeah, they're getting more comfortable is what Steven Espinoza is saying. He's a lawyer, and we already know how that works. But here's at the end of the day, right? What it looks like is happening is that PBC is willing to work with, Amazon is willing to work with the PBC under some sort of understanding. Certain things, certain boxes have to be checked. We're willing to do this as long as this is happening. And when this is not happening, we have to revisit how we're going to do the next thing. Amazon is protecting themselves, in my opinion, from a situation that they seen Showtime and the PBC go through. They're looking at it like, yo, we're not just going to sit out here and just fork out money. We'll pay Canelo Alvarez. We'll handle the big guarantee for Canelo. We'll handle the big guarantee for Gervonta Tank Davis. But the rest of the situation is going to be a case-by-case scenario. For Steven Espinoza to say that they're getting more comfortable with it, so he's expecting more events to start coming out, doesn't sound confident. Doesn't sound like the game plans.
I don't know. I don't hear that like that, though. That's not how I hear.
What else can you hear that as?
To me, it just sounds like, okay, we've never been in boxing before in this avenue, so we got some events under our belt. We seeing how it worked. Okay, cool. We're getting more comfortable with it. Now we're willing to do it some more because we're seeing how it works. We're seeing how things go.
Isn't that
y'all
what
basically just said the same thing?
No, but you're saying it in a way like it's a bad thing. Like, they didn't want to do it. They wasn't comfortable. And I'm saying it in a way like it was new to them, and now they see how it works. They're willing to do more of it. Not like they on thin ice or got to walk around on eggshells or something like that.
Well, yeah, I wanted to add that part too. I was going to say, what if they are? What does that mean? That don't mean that the deal was going to just fall through or nothing like that. That just means that they're a little timid with, what they're willing to put on for, what they're willing to put out for, so they're not saying that the deal is off. They're just basically saying they're selecting certain things that they're willing to put money behind.
Yeah, it's something like that. But basically, to keep it simple, it's not to make it look bad. I don't know how I made it sound. If I made it sound bad, I apologize. What I'm trying to say is pretty much the same thing you're saying. What I'm saying is it's not all set in stone. The deal was a deal that's based on certain boxes being checked. Amazon has not fully vested into the PBC like we thought they did. They more so are doing like trial run type energy. They got like trial run energy where they're like, let's see how this turns out. As I become more comfortable and become more confident in what's going on, I'm going to open more doors open. I'm going to open more opportunities. I'm be more open to certain things, but I need this to make sense. I need this to make profits. I need return on investment to be highly on the high priority list of what's taken into consideration with everything that you guys do. I need to see that that's what's happening. I'm not willing to yet invest completely into these events yet. I want to see that you can turn this over into profits for me. And I believe Steven Espinoza feels like they're closer and that they're checking those boxes. And because they're checking those boxes, he's expecting something from Amazon shortly. Once again, he didn't confirm that it's happening. He said, and I'm looking for the interview so I can pull it up so you can hear him say it, so we can all hear him say it and just have a real solid opinion off of what he's saying and watch what he's saying. So I'm not.
So more money opening up, then, right, Clay?
Huh?
So more money opening up. He's expecting. He's saying that more money can possibly open up a bigger budget.
Yeah, here we go. Right here. Here we go.
Because we know Tank already got his deal from Amazon, right? And we know that Amazon is willing to put out money for Canelo to have, to put on for Canelo.
Frequently, we don't even know that. That's another thing. This whole entire $250 million, $240 million, $200 million deal, I haven't seen no confirmation from it.
What, with Tank, you mean?
Yeah.
What confirmation you think you're gonna see, bro?
Who said that? Tank said that, right?
Yeah, Tank said that it's coming. And then there was an article that came out. He didn't say how much it was going to be. All of a sudden, it was like, yeah, We just found out Tank got a 240 million. I don't know, where did that information even come from?
Yeah, as far as I knew, it came from Tank, and I don't really know Tank to be no liar like that. So I don't think that he just made that up. I think that that part might be real. Why wouldn't it be real? It's Tank.
I mean, if Devin was to say it, they'll be like Devin was lying out his ass. So,
I mean, we know. Well, yeah, I'm saying Tank and Ryan Garcia did what 1.2 million pay-per-view sales, right?
Right.
We know Tank is known for putting on big pay-per-views. We know Tank is a star, right? Tank is the biggest thing in and around those weight classes, right? So I would think that if anybody that Amazon was willing to put out a big budget for, it would be Tank.
Yeah,
or Canelo.
It's not happening. I'm just trying to say, we don't have facts to back that up. Like I've been saying it myself. I've been saying 200 to 240 million. And that's why I say 200 to 240 million dollars, because I don't know what the number is. But here's Steven Espinoza right quick. I just want to be clear on what he said, right? Here he is. Right?
As Amazon becomes more and more comfortable with televising the sport.
Now, is there any truth to the matter of Jamal Charles?
Amazon listening to pick up steam and snowballs. It wasn't like we were doing 20 fights a year like we were toward the end. So I expect this thing to pick up steam and snowball as Amazon becomes more and more comfortable with televising the sport.
Now, is there any truth to the matter of Jamal Charlo facing Demetrius Boo Boo Andretti?
That's a really interesting fight.
Yeah, I mean that's basically what he's saying right there, right? I mean, it's a whole interview. I don't want to play the whole interview, right? I'm just playing that part where he says about he's expecting things to snowball better as Amazon gets more comfortable with televising the sport. What do y'all take from that?
I mean, it makes sense.
I mean, it's exactly what he said. I guess televising was that the promotion of it, putting it on.
But
getting it out to certain customers.
One thing I
don't expect they got into a business with the PBC to put on boxing, and they're still getting comfortable with putting on boxing.
And but it's on both
televising, like whatever that means.
How's you gonna put it on? What does televising mean?
So like they're not used to that whole like environment basically. But but one thing I'll say, right? I sort of always thought this. When you look at like fighters like Tank, right, and Canelo, I sort of believe the reason Tank's a great fighter. One of the other reasons why Tank blew up so much versus everybody else is because he was put on pay-per-view early. And when I say pay-per-view, I'm not talking about pay streaming, because people call pay-per-view pay stream pay-per-view nowadays. But pay-per-view was something on cable, on like cable that you could just go to like through your cable menu or something like that, right? And I think it's a big difference, because when you have apps, it's harder to sell. It's hard to sell when you have the Zone. Like sometimes when people like criticize the Zone, you have to realize it's not like Showtime pay-per-view where like the older people who watch boxing, let's say like you have people that watch boxing for years, so like they know how to use pay-per-view, but they may not know how to use the app. App's a little bit more confusing. It's a little bit more like for the newer generations. And I think now they're on Amazon. It's a different thing for them too. I can only imagine that Tank's numbers will like got hit a little bit because it is on Amazon Prime versus being on Showtime pay-per-view. A streaming service versus a pay-per-view service. Yeah,
I don't think they got any problems putting on a Tank Davis fight or a Canelo fight. I don't. I think they're I think they want those as soon as somebody
right.
Amazon Tank or Canelo, they're like, we ready. They're gonna put it all out.
Bingo.
My question is the rest of the damn roster at the PBC. How they going?
There we go.
That's what I'm asking questions about.
There we go.
I was going to say that's what I think that Steven Espinoza was talking about. He, Tank already got his deal. We know that they putting out for Canelo. I think he's talking about the rest of the cards and stuff that don't feature those guys.
Hey Clay, check this out.
They putting on more free fights, so more of their fighters don't have opportunities to fight.
So check this out, Clay. I was looking at Steven Espinoza, and you know what? The look he has to me, the look he was giving on right there to me was the same look he was giving when Showtime was getting rid of their ass. He had that look where he was,
like
yeah, you know,
okay.
yeah. Everything okay.
Steve Espinosa definitely had like lawyer, liar, manipulating conversation, playing with words, energy. He had that. He didn't have that confident. He had spokesmen. You know, like when the president about that dude that's gonna he's gonna give you the soft landing about the crazy stuff. Saw the president.
Right.
You got that.
Right.
He's giving a soft landing, and it doesn't seem. I didn't see confidence coming from him. And keep in mind,
because if there's
events, as these events come by, Steven Espinosa is consistently being cornered and asked questions. He's giving these little interviews. They're happening. They have a tank event, and they ask him these questions, and he's always like, "Yeah, this is getting ready to come around the corner. This is getting ready to happen. We're going to start seeing more of this. We're going to start seeing more of that." We don't never really see it, right? This free event that they just did, good fights. I enjoyed the fight in the event.
Yeah,
but the event was not, the event was, we got music. Tszyu came
free, bro.
Okay.
It was given.
They're not the first people to give free cards, bro. Like, there was no music. Tszyu came to the ring. There was no music.
Could afford it. It was free, bro.
Fighters had
music. Card means no music, buddy.
I know.
Man, it was given.
Some people might say that's not a big deal. Oh God, we're gonna hold on to music, but it's just like, yeah, we kind of are.
I've seen plenty of cards with people with no music.
I think Turkey's plan is better. I think what Turkey's doing is a little bit better. At the end of the day, we want PBC to succeed. Let's get something straight. We want it's not just Tank and Canelo. Like, we want all the fighters to sell massive and do really good because it helps propel the sport. If PBC,
man, can I be honest with you? I'm ready for PBC to get the hell out of here, man, and let Turk go and do this thing, man. Because
I want to see
dark, So you ready? So you ready for American boxing to leave?
Man, hell, it's been gone. Listen, hold on, boxing hacker. Hold on, watch this. If this is what American boxing is coming to, hell yeah, I'm ready for something else to come in here and make a change, because this shit that we have now is, boxing is dying. Can't you not see it? It's on life support. I hear
that year after year after year after year. I hear everybody saying boxing. Like, I literally been hearing that since I started watching boxing. That boxing is dying.
I think now.
Listen. See, I've been watching boxing since the 80s. You hear me? Since late 80s, I've been watching boxing, and I'm telling you, the fights and the way things was going back then, man, I'm talking about boxing was in every household. Boxing was the talk of. If we go outside, we talking boxing. It was.
Yeah, but that time is past. We're in a whole different time and era.
Technology makes a big difference versus apps.
But no. What done happened is the boxing has become. I want to say it's watered down, but it also has become a monopolized deal to where now these fighters are feeling like, okay, well, if this person can fight this person and make this money, then I'm gonna fight this person and get that money. I don't care if that's who they want to see, because back then, if we talking about we want to see Sugar Ray versus Hagler and Hitman Hearns, you best believe that shit is coming on its way. But now you got, and not only then, but you had fighters really calling and wanting to be great back then. Now they want a belt. They want to be they wanted to be the one that say, I'm the baddest in the world. I'm the one that you got to beat to be considered the king of this sport. Back then, that was then. Now it's, oh, you ain't make more money than me. I made more money than that. I got 200,000 views. I got 200 tickets. Man, it's come to that point. But now, if you not see what Turkey has done is level. He took the money situation out of it. He took the A-side situation damn near out of it. And now it's he basically is telling the fans, is this who y'all want to see? Is this who y'all want to see? And if y'all don't want to see this, and if y'all not holding these fighters responsible, then, well, y'all can go ahead and keep on going running to the PBC and watch Watch how much that keep on working for you. Just keep on watching. So
I think listen, I think as far as as far as American boxing going away, I don't think that's realistic. That's going to happen. I think, as long as top.
No, I'm just being hyperbolic, but I'm just
Right,
saying. If,
right. I think Golden Boy, Top Rank, and PBC, I think is always going to be around. I think Matchroom is going to continue to make fights over here. I think Turkey's going to. It sounds like Turkey's starting to become more focused on Riyadh season and having fights happening in Saudi Arabia. And if his money's on it, he's going to be. For now, that's what it looks like, at least, that he's going to be more focused on that. And we already knew that Turkey's whole move was to bring events to Saudi Arabia. So that doesn't shock me, right? So I don't think it's going to hurt American boxing like that. But I'm going to tell you like this. If American boxing does go away, or if it gets hurt in the way that people are scared it's going to get hurt, it's not going to be because of what Turkey did. It's going to be because of what these promotional companies stateside didn't do and what they haven't been doing for years. Now, it's up to them to make boxing stay here. It's up to them to fix the holes, patch the holes up, and make this thing work. Because, yes, I agree with you. If they continue to move the way they are with the poor matchmaking, the lack of development in fighters, when you look at the Olympics, we didn't even score medals in there.
There we go. There we go.
Over here stateside with how fighters being developed, with how fighting and boxing is being developed over here. And people have been talking about years well before Turkey Al-Sheikh. So yes, somebody like Turkey Al-Sheikh with a lot of money sees an opening and he's taking advantage of it and he's giving the fans what they want to see. And I'm telling you, all these fighters who are being all loyal to the PBC and loyal to their promotional companies like Golden Boy, Top Rank, and all these other guys, they will start to pay attention to that. That's why Boots Ennis did not go with the PBC. That's why Jalil Hackett did not go with the PBC. That's why Shakur Stevenson did not go with the PBC. These fighters are not stupid. They're not dumb. They're in it for their legacy. They're in it for their bags, their paychecks, for their families. They're not in it to blow up one platform over another one. They want to be active. They want to fight. And when they fight, they want to get paid. And
that's right.
People were saying earlier this year, why didn't Shakur Stevenson go to the PBC? My question is, why didn't the PBC offer Shakur anything to make him come over there? The PBC hasn't signed no new fighters this year that I'm aware of. Maybe they haven't. But then I'm aware of they haven't signed any. So we're acting like that was even an option for Shakur to sign to the BBC. Like they was offering him something. They don't seem like they've been offering anybody anything. The people who they have on their roster, they haven't been able to give them all fights this year. They've only been able to give the big stars fights this year. So why would they go and sign somebody else? And also, if they were signing somebody else, why would anybody in their right mind sign to a company that can't even facilitate fighters for the fighters they already can't facilitate fights for the fighters that already got on their roster? I'm not in this. I'm not like Tank. I'm not going to make.
But you're coming. But listen. I hear what you're saying, but you're coming here for the sole purpose of us making this fight. So don't sit here and act like you're gonna come here and we're gonna be like, oh, you're at the end of the line. No, we're gonna build you up so we can make this fight, so we can generate the most money we can off this fight. You gonna come? I'm saying if you come to the PBC.
Who's coming to the PBC? Who's the PBC signing?
No, you're saying like we don't know if Shakur tried to go to the PBC or if he's gonna even be able to get the fight. I'm saying, of course, if he.
People are saying, why didn't Shakur go to the PBC? Why would he go to Matchroom? My question is, was the PBC an option for Shakur to go?
I don't know. We never heard about him trying to.
I mean, him trying to. Free agent. He tried to go to the PBC, or does the PBC approach Shakur and be like, "Yo, we want to sign you," like Eddie Hearns did, like other companies? You know what I'm saying? Like they approached him, hey, champ, we got a deal for you. We think we can do great things for you. Shakur's supposed to go over there, fill out an application, and wait for a phone call for them to call him and call him in for an interview, and then he gets to tell them why he would be a great asset to the PBC.
But how do we know they didn't though? We don't know that.
There is no money. There is no money. Yeah. Look at Tim Tszyu fight. There is no money, y'all. The money is drying up at an astronomical rate. And if these fighters don't, if Canelo don't do 600,000, if Tank don't do 600,000, the money is slowly but surely dwindling up. These fighters are being left on the shelf 1, 2, 3 years in a row. We talking about inactivity at an all-time high.
But how do you
we
know that's not the fighter's fault though?
Because they saying, hold up, watch this. I got it.
I'm just asking.
Hold up.
I'm
telling you. This what I'm finna tell you. If you a fighter, wouldn't you not want to make money? Yes or no? Yes, I'm pretty sure you want to make money.
Y'all want to make money, but shit, I'm making so much money. Fuck it, I'm chilling.
Who's making so much money that they chilling?
That's what I'm saying. Who?
I'm just saying, I'm speaking hypothetically.
Yeah, we need to put
who's making the money that they chilling. Now, Charlo's okay. I'll give you Jamel. I will give you Jamel, and I don't even know about Jamal, but I'm gonna say Jamel made a bag with Canelo. He just made a bag, right? Of course, Tank. Of course, Canelo. Errol Spence. I got a question I wanted to ask the panel for real. Why isn't Errol Spence fighting? Is it him? Is he choosing not to fight, or is he doing the same thing that Tank Davis was doing when Calvin Ford? When I remember, I asked Calvin Ford.
What do you mean? Why is he not fighting? Ain't he about to fight Fedora?
Hold on, he's finally about to fight Fedora. He's about to fight.
2 years.
Yeah, it's gonna be crazy, right? It's been such a long time. But listen, all right. I asked Calvin Ford one time when it came to that fight, the first fight, the one that Tszyu and Sebastian Fedora fought. I don't know if anybody wants to agree on this or not, but I think most of the people on the panel and the chat will agree that we were all expecting Frank Martin and Davis to fight on that first card. That's what was told to us. Like, yeah, that he's going to open up this new deal with Amazon and put the biggest fight forward. A lot of content creation channels were pushing that narrative as well, right? But the fight didn't happen, right? When I asked Calvin Ford what's going on, Calvin said, I'm sitting back trying to see. He said, we all sitting back trying to see how Amazon is going to roll out this fight. We want to see what they're willing to do and what they're going to do. You know what that said to me when he said that to me? He basically said, we're waiting on this deal to come together, on this money to come together for Tank before we do anything. So that means the deal was still in the air at that point, right? So my thing is, what is Errol waiting on? What deal is Errol waiting on? What understanding is Errol waiting on before he allows the fight to come together? And maybe that deal is finally hit. Maybe that's what's happened. Maybe the deal has finally hit for him for it to make sense for him to fight.
Earl?
I think it comes down to that, right? It comes down to that. This deal with Amazon is extra flaky. It's a very, very flaky.
It is. You can see it. I mean,
firm. It's not a solid deal. Like it has a lot of contingencies. It's got a lot of boxes in order for it to work. I even question even Tank's money. And I don't like talking about these boxes money. I swear I don't, right? But this is an interesting conversation because we're watching this happen in our face. It's like, I think even Tank's money comes with contingencies. I think there's boxes that need to be checked. I think there's understanding that needs to be there before it works. And I think this takes more of an effect on what fights are being put together. I think that window shopping we just watched, in my opinion, from my seat, I watched Tank Davis's team or the PBC window shop for Tank, call a bunch of fighters and find out after they've called the fighters that they don't really got the bag to offer these dudes like that. You feel me? That's why the offers weren't made. Ultimately, that's why the offers weren't made. Ultimately, the interest was there. The understanding from the people who represent Tank's interest was like, okay, we've got this bag. We can make these fights happen. Boom. And as these phone calls were being made and interest was being piqued in these fights, and it came time to follow up with actual offers, it seemed like it got weak all of a sudden. It seemed like right at that point, it was like, what do you mean we don't? It was almost like we don't got access to that. Hold on. I thought you said, yeah, we're working that out, champ. I'll tell you what, though, until we get it figured out, and we're about to get it figured out. It's about to get there. Amazon is getting more comfortable with televising these fights, so we're expecting this to come through. But until then, Lamont Roach. What about Santos? What about Shakur? Yeah, Shakur, listen, let Shakur go enjoy Paris. When you get back, we're going to figure it feels like all this stuff is happening on a week-to-week basis, like day-to-day basis. Like nobody really understands everything completely how this deal's working out. And it looks like it's getting the way the fight's happening. I'm not going to lie to you. I'm telling you. I know people are going to listen. People are going to throw shots at me.
That's a lot. That's a lot. You got a lot.
Hey, so what I'm
saying to you, it's not all done. That's what I'm saying.
I'm about to jump off. COE Claymore 2 cents. Salute to you guys. I got a toddler crying, all right? So I'll talk to y'all later.
I'm about to hop off here too. It's already almost 11.
Man,
all right, Clay. It's been real. It's been real.
Ladies and gentlemen, of course.
Yo, Don, salute to you guys, man. Dante, Saudi Arabia pulling back a little bit.
All right, peace out.
Saudi ain't pulling back. Saudi's just doing what the game is called for. The Saudi is basically got enough attention to what they're doing in Saudi, and now they're going to focus on Saudi more. That's it. You mean they came over, they did something in America, they did something in the UK, but their real goal and their ultimate plan has always been to make Saudi Arabia a central base for all sports, and that's what
that's what it was. That's what it's about. And if you look at how everything has been going, you look, they're not just doing boxing. See, what everybody's forgetting about is it's other sports that they are invested in too. They talk about tennis, we talk about soccer, we talking about boxing, and you know the whole 9 yards is they're not just invested in boxing. So I want everybody just to clear their mind about that. Boxing is a sport that Turkey, that's a sport that he's invested in. He's loving that this part of the sport. So yeah, so you know there's a lot of people that don't understand about Riyadh season. You know what I mean? So of course they want to bring some back to their home turf, you know, so they people can enjoy as well. So I get it. Now, but the money situation is what we're talking about.
100%, Jerome.
Yeah, because see, with the PBC, to me, they are really they're siphoning money. When you hear fighters talking about, man, we got to make our own fight. Why you gotta? If you're a PBC, you have people in business. Yeah, you have people in place to handle business just in case Al gets sick. I mean, I have a business. I have things allocated and in place to if something happened to me, this thing can keep on going. You know what I'm saying? So, and I'm on a way smaller scale than a PBC.
Of course, right? Like you're yeah, exactly, right? Like that's what I was saying 2 cents before, to say that you got some big business lawyers and CEO type level dudes sitting at the tables making these deals, bro. They're not sitting here going into deals that are going to involve millions and millions and millions of dollars going, I don't know how this business works. You feel what I'm saying?
Right. Yeah. Come on now.
They got somebody over there. You got enough money. It's like you might not know about restaurants, right? Let's say, I don't know if that's your business, right? But let's say it's a restaurant. But let's say you open up a restaurant, right? But you got a lot of money and you never opened up a restaurant before. You're going to make damn sure that you're going to staff somebody. You're going to have somebody on your team that's very, very familiar with restaurants.
There we go.
When you jump into the restaurant business, you're going to have access to all the information you need before you agree. Let's say opening the restaurant, you need to put like 1.5 million, you know what I'm saying, to get this restaurant to be. Before you put your 1.5 million and allow that 1.5 million to leave your account and jump into some escrow somewhere, you're going to be damn sure understanding how the hell restaurants work. And until we ain't got no deal. Like
we ain't got no deal. Hey, man, that's 100% facts.
Right? A good business is going to do that. An idiot going to mess around and be like, how hard could it be, man? One restaurant, two restaurants. They all the same. He's going to play himself. But a good businessman, somebody who knows how to make money, going to know if they don't know everything, they're going to have somebody that they've hired that knows everything. They're not
That's right.
They're not going there in the dark going, oh, I'm still trying to learn how this works, so bear with me, man. As soon as I figure out how it works, I'm going to start putting on events. Like, what are you talking about?
Yeah. And see, Jamal, he really he talked a little bit too fast. I don't think he meant for that to get out like that, because why would you say, hey man, I haven't heard any other PBC fighter say that, but you know, Jamal, them Charlos, they you know, they mouth real they mouth loose now. So I don't think he meant for that to get out. He said, man, we got to make our own fights now. And I took that as like, what? Hold up. You got to make your own fights.
Of course, everybody did. I did the same thing. As soon as I heard it, I was like, what? I don't understand that. We got to make our own fights now. Al sick. I'm like, what the hell? What is he talking about?
What are you talking about, man? Like, hold up.
Everything you talking about. What are you talking about? You making your own fights? Since when? I thought.
Hey.
You know what I'm saying? Even the Al sick part was like, man, by the way, man, best wishes and God bless Al Heyman. I hope he gets better. I don't know what's going on over there, but I hear it's tough. You know what I mean? I hope he gets well. But yeah, definitely. Like, what you mean? You making your own fights up? Like, I'm gonna play part again real quick here.
So look, there's a lot of guys. I know we're going to be seeing Erickson Lubin soon. We're going to be seeing Fundora soon. We'll be seeing the Charlos, real soon. We'll be seeing Stephen Fulton back again. So things are getting rolling. The shows are becoming more regular. We're doing pay-per-view, non-pay-per-view. So I've been telling people to be patient, and now things will develop. And I think they're really going to start picking up steam now.
Is there any truth of the matter of Al Heyman being ill and hasn't been really in the mix, so these fights haven't been coming off the way that you guys planned for 2024?
No, that really has nothing to do with anything. Al has been dealing with some personal issues, but he's very much involved. But the change in the pace is, look,
hold on, I want to pause it right here and just be clear. I want to be clear how he counter. How he what's the word I'm looking for? It's late. I've been working. I've been up since 4:30 in the morning. How he lied.
Deviated.
Yeah, he lied. He said Al Heyman being sick doesn't have anything to do with anything. But then he came back and he said, but Al's involved in every bit of the process, right?
Right.
So hold on.
Breaking in a new media partner. They're learning the sport. They're learning the calendar. And if you look back at Showtime's first year in the business, it wasn't like we were doing 20 fights a year like we were toward the end. So, I expect, this thing to, pick up steam and snowball as Amazon becomes more and more comfortable with televising the sport.
Okay.
Ooh.
Now, what he's saying right there is, Amazon's not comfortable, right?
Right.
The reason why the events ain't popping off the way that they said it was going to pop off. Because keep in mind, what he tried to do right there is he tried to paint a narrative to say, oh, the first year we was in business with Showtime.
Right. There you go.
The way it worked. Okay, but you got that experience, right? So why did you tell everybody?
There you go.
12 to 14 fights for the year, right?
Yeah.
And then now on Amazon, you're saying that basically Amazon is holding up putting these events out, right? Amazon's holding it up. Why would Amazon hold it up? There's a reason. And I'm not saying Amazon's not holding it up, but I'm saying why are they holding it up? What's holding them back? They've already gone into the deal with you guys. You guys are on the network. What's holding them up? Why would they not want to put out fights? That's money out their pocket. Or is it money?
Chilling. Well, you just picked him apart. I haven't even heard this interview. This is my first time hearing it, man. And
this is 3 days ago.
Right? Man, I haven't seen it, bro. I have not seen it. This is my first time even getting a taste of this right here.
Right? I mean, I'm just saying that they're my guys up here. Hold on a second. What's up, Bang? Salute, King.
What's going down? Salute to the panel. Salute to the show, man. How's things? I'm on my little 15-minute break at work, man. Excuse me, y'all.
No doubt. What's good, man?
I'm just tuning in right quick. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, we just talking about a little bit of the business of the game. I think the fight this weekend was shout out to Tim Tszyu and Bakram and all those and PBC doing their first event and a free event, and it was free like they said it would be. But I think I felt like it was lackluster. I felt like it was just kind of like it seemed like the budget was real limited on that event. What do you think of the event?
Well, I only saw the
ducking.
Like I only saw the main event, the Tim Tszyu, because I had a family reunion, so I kind of know what I'm saying. I didn't even see the whole event, bro. I was at a family reunion, but as far as that Tim Tszyu fight, hey man, I was telling a couple people about the what's old buddy name? The murder. What's his name?
Murataliev. I'm gonna go with that.
Man, the murderer.
Bakram.
The man's name is Murderer. That man's name is
Murataliev.
Yeah, man. I'm gonna call him the murderer. Hey, man, it was one of my people sent me a a little profile on him like back in June. And I started checking him out. He was like, bro, this dude gonna be better than he better than Madrimal, bro. He more dangerous. And I was looking, I was like, okay. Then I started doing my homework. You know, he kind of had a lackluster fight his last fight. But then I kind of like seen him and I started looking. I say, no, this dude is dangerous. And he oversized for the division.
You look at
absolutely,
the
bro.
He look like a 168 pounder up in that ring against.
Absolutely, bro.
Fat welterweight, bro.
That's what I'm saying, bro. So this, and he's one like it's bro. That takes me back to what I said, bro. I don't think nobody's gonna go undisputed at 154. Everybody gonna lose to somebody, bro.
It's gonna be hard, bro. Whoever does it, they do it. Yeah, I agree with you. I feel like it's gonna be so hard, bro. Like so difficult. Like, and these Eastern Europeans, bang. Yo, these Eastern Europeans exposing some boxing right now. They showing people. They really showing out right now. Like they talking.
Hey, that's what I would tell in 2 cents, man. That's what I would tell in 2 cents. Like 2 cents, American boxing is we thriving, but man, we getting behind the 8 ball because you got guys from over there, Russia, shit, Uzbekistan, yeah, them in Ukraine. Shit, them boys over there, hey, they ain't playing now. They coming. You know what I mean?
Hey man, the thing about I don't mean to cut you off, my bad. But
go ahead.
Them dudes over there, they fighting for legacy, pride, honor. Any kind of money you get, ain't none of them outpricing themselves because they all need the money.
Yeah.
Whatever if they collecting what we call crumbs and pennies, they need all that. They getting all that. Out
Them
here,
boys hungry. They hungry.
They hungry, bro. These niggas out here full, still trying to put more on their plate. What y'all giving me for this fight? 2 million, $1 million? Nah, I'm cool on that. Like that's how we treating the game. Like you understand what I'm saying?
You're right.
So yeah, bro, it's a difference, bro. These niggas is fighting with a hunger. You know what I'm saying?
Real dog.
Do you think it's significant at all that the Olympics just went past and we didn't medal? We didn't get no medals.
Bro, that tell you everything. That tell you everything. That tell you everything right there.
I'm not surprised. Does that speak at all to what's happening in boxing in America? The fact that we didn't medal, does that speak to anything to that?
Speaking volume, yes, sir.
Keep this in mind that I'm sure a fighter like Carmel Moten, right? Or Abdullah Mason, like maybe 20, 30 years ago, these guys would have been in the Olympics, right? This is what they would have been doing. You know what I mean? They would have been trying to be Olympians like Shakur Stevenson did, right? Like they'd have been trying to do that, and they're not now, right? They're jumping into the professional pool a little bit early, and it like, you know, come on, look at Carmel, right? That boy Dan just turned 19 years old or something like that. I don't know how old he is. He a young bull though, and he ain't going to the Olympics. Is that what we're seeing when we see when we're not medaling in the Olympics, or is it really the skill set and the skill level with our boxers have kind of digressed in the past couple of years?
It could have a lot to do with that. Now, to be honest, bro, I don't think it's just digressing like that. I just think they getting better, bro, because them Eastern Europeans, bro, they never stood a chance against nobody, bro. Not over here. Know what I mean? So I really think they just really getting better, bro. And a lot of them are adapting to American type style. Like you gotta look at the Anthony Yards. Look at the you got a lot of excuse me. You got a lot of people, you got a lot of, you know, they got those Eastern European teachings. You know what I'm saying? Then you got, you know what I'm saying? Then you got a lot of them starting to add like a little pizzazz and flavor to their style. Look at the Lomachenkos. Look at the Usyks. Look at you understand what I'm saying? They not basic fighters. You know what I'm saying? They got a little bit pizzazz in them. Hey, my bad. The little fuel truck just pulled up, bro. So
yeah, no doubt. Yeah, man. I don't know. Right. Man. I think it's a little bit of everything, right? But I do believe that the lack of matchmaking, good matchmaking in America, I think our fighters are suffering from that, man. I think when you see somebody like Jared Anderson get pieced up like that by Martin McCauley, and he was looking like he was going to be that, Jared Anderson's the next thing for the heavyweight division out here. It's like, damn, bro. A dude came from Africa that we never heard of and just beat that boy from pillar to post all around the damn ring until that boy gave him all he could take. Pause. You know what I'm saying? So
yeah.
So we have questions that need to get answered inside of these rings. Matchmaking has to get better. It has to become more competitive. It has to become more competitive. Did you guys know that Tszyu supposedly is talking about making a move to America before this fight? That he was talking about making a move to Las Vegas, and he likes to have the sparring partners out here. He thinks he's going to get better out here, and that a lot of people are crediting the way he performed to like an American style, like he left what he normally did and did something new in that fight based on like a more crowd pleasing style. What do you think about that?
Yeah, see, that's what's getting them. That's what's getting them clipped up, because they are trying to appease to some of these people that really don't understand the sweet science. You know what I mean? The sweet science of boxing. You can't just go in there and just be ready to go head forward straight up and be ready to fight. Like Terrence Crawford was saying, man, your head on the line, and like they were saying about Shakur and you know about him in his last fight with Madrimal. It's more than just going in there just going balls to the wall looking to slug. You're gonna get your head tore off against a guy that you never heard of, like like a Bakram. You know, we haven't really followed Bakram too much, but dude is a dog. You know what I'm saying? But these guys gotta they can't try to cater to some of what these fans saying, and just they need to go develop some more, get in them fights. Man, Tszyu, he was gifted a belt. He never had a chance to fight for a championship belt. So we didn't know what Tszyu had in him. You know what I mean? We seen a list something, but we ain't know what Tszyu had in him for real. He was gifted that belt. You know what I mean? So it's stuff like that, man, that they got to go through the fire. I'm like what bro said right here. Man, them fighters over them Eastern Europe, they fighting for legacy, man. They got that dog in them. You know what I mean? So it's gonna take that type of stuff right there for these fighters to get better and for us to really see what they working with.
Yeah, now you see why people are moved carefully, even late in their career. These Americans, you know what I'm saying? There's a lot of people out here making sure that they stay undefeated, or they making sure that they don't get into those certain fights. You know what I'm saying? Because they trying to protect they more worried about the money and the record instead of the legacy. That takes away the hunger, bro. Now you just out here just doing shit. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I don't really want to see this Tank and Lamont Roach fight. You know what I'm saying? Because when I chimed in, that's what y'all was talking about.
Right.
I respect all fighters, bro, because even if they what people consider bums, they got the heart to lace them up and go out there and fight in front of millions. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So, but I just don't see nothing special that Lamont Roach does, bro. I watched him fight, bro. I don't see nothing special, bro. Frank Martin is leap years ahead of Lamont Roach, bro. Like, that's a way better fighter than Lamont Roach, bro. Like I just, man, bro, this kind of like he kind of taking the Canelo route to me, bro. And I don't want to not be his fan no more, bro.
Right? It's deflating, right? That's the word I use,
bro.
It's deflating, right? It's like you taking like everything that you know, and I'm on the same page, and I try to explain it as respectfully as I can and say, listen, I'm a fan of this man. I really like watching him fight. But then you get to the point where you're just like, man, nah, man. You feel me? Like you get to that point where you're like, yo, just no, bro. No, bro. Nah, dog. I ain't gonna even lie to you. Nah.
You think about your money. Because you're thinking about the money you coming out your pocket with.
You're gonna say $70 to $90. You're gonna charge me like $70 to $90 for this.
Like, come on, bro. Like, man, I want us to keep supporting you, man. I've been watching like I told bro, I've been watching the boxing, man, ever since the mid '80s all the way up until now. And you know what I'm saying? And from the time I was able to afford to start paying for pay-per-views, man, I've been shelling out money for fights that I've been wanting to see and for fighters that I think that's worthy of that dollar. Now, when it come down to me picking and choosing which fight I want to pay for, if you giving out 4, 5, 6 cards, you know what I'm saying? I'm like, okay, you know, I'm gonna watch that fight right there. I'm gonna pay for that. I'm gonna throw me a little party. I'm gonna give me some ribs, give me some chicks, you know what I'm saying? Get some wings, man. We finna grill, call up the fellas, man. You know what I'm saying? Call us some honeys, and we finna sit back. We finna do our thing. Watch this fight, parlay. You feel me?
Right.
I don't want to do that to a fight I'm not finna enjoy, bro. And that's all I'm saying.
Yeah,
Right. I can dig it. Hey, but look, I gotta get back to it, man. They just called out a break, man. Hey, man, we love the love, man. Y'all check us out, man. Fighting Words with Bang. You know what I'm saying? Go follow that page, subscribe to my page. Hey, man, Claymore Rain, boy, you been doing your thing. You know we love the love. Hey, man, holla, man. Salute to my guy up here on the other side of the panel too, man. You know what I'm saying?
Right on.
But yeah, man, I got to get back to it, man. 100.
No doubt, no doubt. I'm gonna pin
right.
your chat up. I'm gonna pin your link up in the chat too. I got you.
I appreciate that, boy.
All right, family. Peace.
All right.
Yeah, man. And I mean, look, it is what it is. I put this thing on the board right here that Bipolar Life put on here, which you know brings us back full circle to the Tim Tszyu situation. I don't know if we had an opportunity to speak on it, COE Films, but I'm gonna read what he got saying here because I think it's relevant. He said, "What happened to Tim's rematch clause with Fundora? He brought Fundora to the front for 2 belts. Tim could have just gone home and fought down on the track. You know what I'm saying? And that's just being honest. That to say that his team be questioned. Looking at where Sebastian Fundora, where Tim Tszyu was at last year. He was one of the most active fighters in the space, right? For 1 year. And then all of a sudden the PBC called on him and said, "We need you, brother. Let's be honest."
Right.
So right, Tszyu versus Keith Thurman was a come save us fight. We thought Tank and Frank. Tank's deal ain't done yet. Said he ain't fighting until that deal is done, so we can't even do that. We need somebody to headline this card. What do you say, champ? And Tim said, "That's what's up. I got you, bro. That's what you want to do. Just pay me my money. I'm gonna come handle it. Who you got me fighting?" They said, I don't know yet, but it looks like we're gonna do Keith Thurman. They're like, "Oh, I thought you was negotiating Terrence Crawford because Terrence was activated his mandatory to fight for the WBO, right? So now we're doing that because we don't want to pay nobody outside of the network. We're gonna bring Keith Thurman in there. Keith Thurman, damn, he ain't fought like 2.5 years. Effort. Let's get. See, what is he like? What is he like? 5'8"? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
For my belt, it's gonna be a catchweight fight. My belt's not even on the line. That's easy. Let's get that done, right?
Easy work. Let's go.
Then Keith blows out his muscle in his arm, right? In his bicep.
Right.
They're like, "Damn, champ, I ain't gonna even lie. We're gonna need you to help us out again." Damn, what's going on? Keith can't fight. He hurt himself. So who you want me to fight? Yo, we think we're gonna bring up Sebastian Fundora. We're gonna pull him out that Serhii Bohachuk fight, right? And we're gonna bring him up. We're gonna bring that WBC belt that he was gonna fight Serhii for, and we're gonna make it a title unification. Now you can become a unified champion. What do you say, champ? Now, obviously, Tim Tszyu's a warrior. He's gonna take the fight, right?
Right.
But does his management have any obligation to protect his interests by making sure that contract protects him? That this is going to be a dangerous fight. This is now a unified championship fight. His belt is on the line now, where it wasn't on the line before. He's fighting a dude who's 6'6" with an 80-inch arm reach on his arm, and he's a southpaw. I haven't even got to spar nobody. This is 10 days before the fight night. 10 days before the fight night. I haven't sparred nobody. You know what I'm saying? That's anywhere near this dude. They brought in Mikhail Fox, you know what I'm saying, who's a tall I think 140 pounder, if I'm correct, maybe 147 pounder. Right, for a day or two, right? Now he gets his head split in the fight, he loses his belt, and then they don't even show him no love, bro. They bring Errol Spence in the ring, who just got dominated by Terrence Crawford about a year and some change before that. Passed on a rematch clause that he activated, and you're going to put Errol Spence right into a unified title fight. From taking a loss from Terrence Crawford, who's a fight that should be happening, you're going to put Errol Spence in there, cut Terrence Crawford off, and have Tim Tszyu sitting on the other side trying to stop the bleeding from coming down his head. Does the management take any weight for what's been happening so far with Keith? I mean, has Tim Tszyu been handled properly, in your opinion?
No, he has not been handled properly because one, if I'm his management company, if I'm his management, for one, if y'all done took me away from a fight, a lucrative fight to be exact, from Terrence Crawford, I'm questioning what is your motive here now, because not only do I get a chance to fight the number one pound for pound, and that right there going to speak for something. Even if I do lose to the number one pound for pound, if I make it a fight to where they can say, hey man, Tim did his thing, your stock goes up immediately. Your stock goes up because you gave the number one pound for pound, just like Madrimov. Your stock goes up tremendously. Now, and not only that, they put you in a fight with Keith Thurman for nothing, no belts at all. What are we talking about here? So now you questioning, but like you said, Tim's a warrior. He like, okay, let's do it. Now, the Fundora situation. If they really thought they had them a cakewalk with Fundora, they thought, oh, well, damn, here we go. We can get an easy belt right here. We get a chance to get 2 belts. At that point, his management wasn't even really thinking of a rematch clause, because why would we rematch if we already thinking that we're going to win? So they not really focused on no damn Fundora.
As a management company, like for example, right? If Tank Davis is fighting against Lamont Roach right now, right? I promise you, somehow Lamont Roach wins this fight, right? If somehow Lamont Roach walks up and wins this fight, I bet money there's a rematch clause in it.
Oh hell yeah, immediately.
Now keep in mind that nobody's expecting Tank to lose. Everybody's favoring Tank by a mile to win this fight. But his management is going to do their job. They're going to make sure that rematch clause is in the contract. The same way they're going to make sure that's just protocol. That's what's happening.
That's a must. Yeah, that's a must.
Dude, if Tank is fighting my son, my 17-year-old son, who you know what I'm saying, who has no amateur experience right now, there's a rematch clause in that contract, bro.
Oh yeah,
there's a rematch clause in that contract.
It's a rematch. But see, you got to understand. See, Spence is one of the darlings of the PBC, so he's one of the darlings, and he done made him a lot of money. And I think Al done took a liking to him. But for him to jump in that ring after that fight and do what he did, there had before that fight, there had to be some sidebar conversations in the back, telling Spence, man, whether he win or lose, you're going to get that opportunity. Fundora just spoiled the party because it's supposed to have been Tszyu Spence. He just spoiled the party. And so that's why you had Fundora manager, what's his name?
Fundora, Sam Lee Woods. Samson.
Yeah, Samson. Yeah, so that's why you had Samson talking about, oh yeah, we're gonna fight Spence. He's a more lucrative fight. And that's another reason why we're talking about the PBC, because why didn't Samson keep that same energy about fighting Earl? That money must not be there. That money must not be there. And I think the only reason now that money, the reason why they come and want to fight Spence now is because of the deal that Crawford made. That they probably gave Crawford some step aside money or something, or I don't know what the deal is with that. But with Samson moving the way that he was moving, the management is letting me know with Tim Tszyu that, dude, you didn't have your management didn't even have the wherewithal to even put you in a position to even do the rematch. And anytime that a PBC fighter if they want to stall out a fight, they always claim an injury. Just like Jamal Charlo, he is mental, so he couldn't fight. That's an injury to move Jamel up to fight. So they always claim injuries and stuff like that if they want to move a fighter. But on a high note, his management has moved his career so poorly now to where it was reported that you was Turkey was wanting to give you $38 million to fight Bud, and you speaking down like you just the big man on the block, like you just this big shot, and now for your stock to drop so low, they put you in a ballroom to where you can't even, it probably don't even hold more than 600-700 people, and you don't even get music played out to your damn walkthrough, and now you done got knocked out in a fashion like never you don't they got you recorded on interviews talking about what happened. What happened? You don't even know what happened, man. They done put you so low now, bro. I don't even think that you can get a fight, and that fight gonna be willing to. They gonna put you in a title shot no time soon. So you finna be on the PBC, and you probably be put up for the next year and a half, 2 years. That's where your management have put you up to this point.
We got to remember that Sebastian Fundora has a deal that's a little different than most of the PBC fighters, right? His deal is more so he's from Australia. He's got No Limit Promotions out there that's representing him. So
hold up, Tszyu, right? Tszyu, not Fundora.
Yeah. That's all. I'm sorry, Tszyu. I'm so tired, bro. I've been up since 4:30 this morning. Hold up, my guys here. Hold up, my guy is here. Salute to my guy, Ross Clyde. I thought
what's going on, man?
Chilling, family. What's good with you, man?
What's the context of this
conversation?
We're talking about Tszyu.
We're talking about Tszyu's management right now to say that the situation he ended up in with Bakram, right? To be in that situation, what did he need to be in that situation? Was the way that the management handled the situation with Fundora handled properly for Tszyu?
What you mean the situation? Because I heard the brother say that they thought that Fundora was going to be a cakewalk. When did they think that Fundora was going to be a cakewalk?
Right. I don't think they thought Fundora was going to be a cakewalk. I think what they thought was, look, I understand what he's saying. What basically he's saying is they were confident they were going to beat Fundora.
Okay,
they were very confident.
But isn't that every fighter?
To the point where you
can say that, but if you're gonna go there, then like you said, it was on a 10-day notice. Nobody takes a fight on a 10-day notice unless you feel like, hey, okay, I got this. You know what I mean? I can do this. It's nothing. Fundora, like you said, they haven't had a camp for Fundora, man. You went. I mean, I know the cut made the fight a little bit more interesting to where it was more of a 50-50 deal, but they was thinking they was gonna win that fight. You know what I mean? Come on now, you.
But yeah, that's what I'm saying. You just answered your own question. If it wasn't for that accidental cut from the elbow, it looked like from the outside looking in, it looked like Fundora was going to lose.
Yes, I agree.
Well, I mean, yeah, but you really can't say that because I mean, we know that it was a good chance that everybody was picking Tszyu to win, but that cut did make it interesting with the blood and everything. But we don't know. We still don't know.
And was the fight competitive still?
Yes.
Yeah, it was competitive. Yes.
It was
while the man could see.
Right. So I see where you're going with it. You're basically saying it's arguable to say that without that cut in his head, he would have dominated even more if he was able to make it competitive with blood in his eyes.
Probably.
Right.
It's just probably. But at the same time,
that's what I'm saying.
When we go back to his recent fight, right? When we go back to his recent fight, what did they do wrong? All he did was fight somebody and he lost. That's what happens in boxing sometimes.
All right, but
where did it go wrong? What poor management are we talking about? Just because
we're talking about you coordinated a fight for him to fight. Okay, let's just put it together for what it is from a management point of view, right? Not from Tszyu's point of view. He's a fighter. From a management point of view, you guys went from Ross Scott, you coming back? Bullet Gibson's in the building. From a management point of view, salute Bullet Gibson. What's good, fam?
Ross Scott, come on back in.
Yeah, he's gonna come back. He just had a bad connection. He does that from time to time. He just had a bad. He's coming back. But
what's good, Brody?
What's good, family? And I mean, same question to you, Bullet. You know what I'm saying? I mean, have you been listening to what we've been talking about, right? I'm assuming you have. I can't hear you. I don't know if you're talking or not.
Yeah, my shit might be lagging. Yeah, my shit might be lagging.
I mean, how do you feel? Do you feel Tim Tszyu's management holds any weight in this situation, or is this just how the ball bounces?
I think there's a little bit of both. Of course, he took the fight as a fighter. The fighter gets to tell the management team what's going to happen, but the management is supposed to guide them, as in, nah, not yet. This might be too soon. You've been scheduled certain fights back to back to back, and all of them has not fallen through. You was training for Virgil Ortiz, that didn't happen because of injury. You was training for all these different things, and it didn't happen. And you always stepped up for them. So let's take some time and get a good full training camp for a specific fighter. Then you move accordingly. I don't think they allow him to do it. I think they didn't guide him that way. They just tell him what you want. Boom. Okay, so you ask the fighter gonna do it.
But as a manager of a fighter, right? This is just me personally, and I'm glad Ross Scott's back for this part again. Yes, Tim Tszyu's going to want to fight, and if that's what he wants to do, you support him. But as a manager, don't you protect your fighter by making sure that contract protects him? Like if this doesn't work out, especially in a situation like this where you have Tim Tszyu, who was preparing to fight Keith Thurman, a 5'8" orthodox fighter who hadn't fought in 2.5 years for a catchweight fight where his title wasn't going to be on the line, right? And then it switches from that till 10 days before the fight, you're fighting a 6'6", 80-inch arm reach, southpaw, and your title's on the line for a unification title fight. You don't think the management would have been wise to make sure that contract protected him, just entertain the fact that he could lose? And like I said, if Tank Davis right now loses against Lamont Roach, do you believe that there's a rematch clause in that contract for Tank?
Yes. They don't put them in the same stanza or Claymore. They don't put them in the same stanza because, for one, his market value is not the same. It's just not. Like he hasn't really done pay-per-view or none of that other stuff. Tank Davis, they have actually been maneuvering him certain ways, so I don't think they will ever really take that chance with Tank unless Tank wants these fights.
You think there's a scenario where a champion is fighting and he's in a fight where he doesn't have a rematch clause if he loses?
No, I think I just think the PBC didn't look out for him, honestly. But go ahead.
I don't understand. What do you mean the PBC to look out for him?
No
for
limit.
What? For what outcome? For what outcome?
For him losing, give him a rematch clause.
Oh, he doesn't have a rematch clause for Fundora?
He never had one.
Oh,
that's what we're saying.
I don't know.
Yeah,
that's
what we're talking about. I think they thought that he was going to just beat Fundora because Fundora just got knocked by Mendoza, and he was taking that fight on short notice as well.
Well, it looks
And
like
that's what was going on. They thought he was going to win.
Well, it looks like they're hoping for a Crawford and Spence rematch.
Well, and look, check this out.
I'm talking about Tim Tszyu's personal management. I'm talking about No Limit, the people who are there to protect Tim Tszyu's interests, not the people who are there to protect the PBC's interests.
Right.
People who are there to make sure Tim Tszyu comes out on top no matter what. Like, yo, we're going to make sure that you fight. We're back here making sure nobody's stabbing you in your back and messing you up, is what I'm saying.
I mean,
right?
I don't know. Yeah. I don't know how they negotiate.
It's all about the money, Claymore.
I don't know how to negotiate late replacement. So I don't know.
Well,
like,
see, this is the thing.
Personally, if my fight is going to take a late replacement like that, where I know stylistically this is going to be a harder fight, there's more on the line. The titles are on the line. All these things is in play that weren't in play before. I'm going to protect my fighter, bro. I'm like, listen, first of all, you lucky that I'm even taking this fight because y'all this real on me.
I know what you guys are saying, but can I say one thing though? The way he looked over the weekend, he probably was going to lose to Fundora again. I mean, in my opinion, I think that fight probably ruined him because he took a lot of punishment in that fight. And I don't want to take nothing away from this Baccarat dude or whatever, but the way he was going down and just getting hit and just getting and checking for his cut and all that, he might not be the same fighter. Sometimes.
So my guy, listen what you just said. So we was talking about the management, right? And Claymore, this just to expound on what you were saying. So you were saying about the management. Wouldn't it been wise to fight? Because I heard it was Terrence Crawford had some on the line with Turkey, some of well up to about 38 million or so, I want to say. Wouldn't it have been wise for him to even entertain Crawford? And if you look, and on the flip side, if you was to lose to a Terrence Crawford, you lost to the number 1 pound for pound guy in the sport. And if you made it a competitive fight, your stock still is up high. You just lost to a guy that nobody knew. The money wasn't there. The stage.
All right, let me ask you this: what's wrong with that? What's wrong with him losing to a nobody?
No, listen. I'm not saying nothing is wrong, but what I'm saying is this: if you're the management, you're trying to put him in the best position. There was talks with Turkey. He was supposed to be fighting with Bud, but you heard what Tim Tszyu saying? Oh, Turkey acting like a little kid, haven't did this, and everybody don't need his money and all that. He's saying all this, but you just got through fighting in a ballroom, and you didn't fight for no money. I mean, nowhere near the money Turkey was offering, and plus, you lost to a guy that wasn't the number 1 pound for pound. If you lose to the number 1 pound for pound, right, and you made it somewhat competitive, just like Madrimov stock went up. You know what I mean? Tim Tszyu stock would have still been up if he made it competitive, but he lost to the number 1 guy that for pound. At this point, the guy that beat Tim Tszyu, because Tim Tszyu was looked at as a monster up in the 154. He was somebody to be a killer. And the guy that nobody knew about, Bakram, beat him from pillar to post. That means Bakram stock flew up, and Tim Tszyu stock, plummeted to damn near nothing. So now, if you was a management, did you put him in the best position? Yes or no? That's one of the things that you have to say.
I don't know, because I don't care about what's going on with the management, but doesn't that make the boxing exciting? Now we got someone else to think about and look forward to watching.
Oh yeah, it makes it exciting. Yeah, it made it exciting. Clay question was about about the management.
It is exciting, but at the end of the day, my question is: did Tim Tszyu's team, should they hold any weight and hold any scrutiny for the way Tim Tszyu's been handled, the way he's been handled this year? And look, I know it's not about their money, it's not about all that, right? But there is money involved in it. My thing is, this man last year was on top of the game, right? When it came to 154, there were people saying that he was the best 154 pounder in the division, outside of Jamel Charlo, who was in a hiatus, right?
Right.
I'll
tell you why it's a no. Okay. To me, it's no, because they thought he was going to win and he didn't. That's just what happened. It's just like
no rematch clause?
Douglas. They thought he was going to be Buster and he didn't.
He didn't have a rematch clause?
What's wrong? I don't know about the rematch clause thing, but they thought he was going to win and he didn't.
It's not a big deal that he lost. It's a big deal that they didn't prepare for him to lose. They didn't say, if he loses, this is what we got. We got a game plan. If he loses this fight, this fight doesn't work out, it's a no big deal. We're gonna regroup. It's a loss, but this is what we got as a contingency, because we understand with 10 days notice he could lose his fight.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
Yeah, we're not disputing. We're not disputing about him losing or not.
One thing I want to say real quick. Was kind of arrogant in the sense of, like I said, he was downplaying this guy, saying that, oh, he's just one of those guys that you just take, for like, calling him like a tune-up, sort of say. He was making it seem like, bro, it was easy money. His name was somewhat getting bigger. He turned down Turkey. I think that really came from the PBC. to not fight Bud or whatever. He turned down more money and a bigger avenue to just fight, with the company being a company, man. He kind of was arrogant and like, I'm finna knock these guys down, then I'm finna go after Bud. He was calling out Bud. He was calling out Boots. He called out Earl. He was calling out all these guys. He was looking past his opponent. I think that was more so him being arrogant. I don't need no rematch clause. I'm finna knock this guy ass out.
Right.
I think that's kind of what bit him in the ass. I didn't realize dude was this big. He got in that ring and that dude was big.
Yeah,
man,
not just
I mean,
big, but
he
that
might know whatever
motherfucker was
he felt,
strong.
but the management team, they're supposed to. I'm sorry, like they're supposed to let him know, like, you know what I mean? Like, no matter what you think, if I'm your manager, I'm gonna sit you down, like, Bullet. Listen, I hear what you're saying. I'm gonna let you know right now. This dude's 6'6". He's a southpaw. I think we got somebody coming in that you can spar a little bit on, but you can't even spar that hard because we don't want to risk no injuries. It's too early, 10 days before the fight. We're not sparring hard 10 days before the fight. We making sure we on point with the weight. We making sure we healthy. We making sure we're not sitting here sparring hard 10 days before the fight. Maybe the 10th day, but not the 9th, 8th, and the 7th. The week of the fight, we're not sparring at all. So listen, man, this is what I'm going to tell you. We're going to put this together, but we're going to redo this contract. I'm going to bring back this contract when it's redone. I'm going to go to the PBC, like, look, my fighter, he's going to take the fight, but we need a couple of contingencies in here that are going to protect his interest. A rematch clause. Boom. We need to make sure that's on point. You know what I'm saying? Money for sure. We getting different money for defending our titles and go for a unification title fight rather than fighting a catchweight fight with Keith Thurman, who hasn't fought in 2.5 years. It's going to be a whole different bag, a whole different energy.
Clay, you're right. You're right. And see, that's the thing. Remember when Bivol and Better Beef, they were supposed to fight at first, but Better Beef had got hurt. He hurt himself, and the fight was pushed off until they come back to fight again. So that's in a similar fashion what you're saying. Like Better Beef promoter, I mean not promoter, but management looked out for him. They said, okay, well, we're not going to risk Bivol, we're not going to risk you doing XYZ and going and have a potential loss, or it can mess up the potential fight for you and Better Beef. We're gonna get a plan together to get you back in the mix and also keep you relevant until that time comes again. So now when it all sums up, the management they didn't take the best route for Tszyu. They only was looking out. They let the PBC really finesse them, really, man, because even if that fight was the PBC have to. Not the PBC, but the management, like Clay says, you have to sit down with them and say, look, this is the best avenue. But the plan was all along was for Spence to come in that ring and be able to bring Spence back, so they couldn't mess it up. Spence already had faked the eye injury to get out the rematch with Bud, so he was ready.
I didn't want to say that, but
man, he faked the eye. He faked the eye injury, man.
What?
I don't think he faked that.
Man, dude faked that eye injury, man. He faked that eye. They always faking, man, to get to move to put other things in play, man. Come on, you let that man. You let Bud sit around all this time. You had a chance to get your eye fixed from June after the fight. You had a chance to get your eye fixed all the way for a whole entire year, and you didn't get it fixed. You wait till damn near when it's time to fight for a rematch. Now you got to get it fixed. Come on, man. Come on, man. Like let's be real, y'all. I'm not gonna sit up here and say, yeah, man, he right. He got a detailed resume. Like, come on, bro. You just really got out of a war. They check you on everything. You know they check your retina and make sure you're good. Now they not your retina, but your eye to make sure you're good. You knew you've been needing that surgery. You know you got a rematch coming. Then you make up an excuse and say that you the reason why you couldn't see the punches was because of the glaucoma, not glaucoma, but the cataract and all that shit. Man, come on, man. You gotta get that fixed right after the fight so you can be ready for your rematch. you didn't do it. You waited till the time to have a fight, then say you got to get. That's why Bud put it out on blast. Like, man, come on, man. Like, all right, bet it's all good. You know what I mean?
Oh,
come on, man. He faked that energy, bro.
I ain't gonna go with that one. I ain't gonna hold you. It is what it is.
Well, that's what I'm holding. I'm holding that one. They didn't give me enough. They didn't give me enough to think that to make me believe that he was really, his eye was really messed up like that. Because, dude, come on, man. Like, it just wasn't enough for me. It wasn't enough.
We're a little over 3 hours. I'm about damn near 24 hours awake, man. I ain't gonna lie. Monday's a horrible day for me. But we could put in the last words. You know what I'm saying? I see everybody else is fading to black too. I appreciate you guys showing up on the panel. Ross Scott, I appreciate you showing up here. Building Wing, Bully Gibson, man. I don't think I ever had you.
I'll jump on earlier next time. I'll jump on earlier next time, Clay.
Please, yeah, thank you, man, for sure, man. You're always welcome up here for sure. But yeah, man, at the end of the day, this is the cost. You know what I'm saying? We'll see what he does next. I think he's going to have to fix himself up a little bit, get some tune-ups. I don't know what that looks like at 154, being that this division is just dangerous and stacked. But we'll see what that looks like for him. And you know, boxing continues, man. I appreciate you guys. Thanks for something to do.
Right on, man. I appreciate you having me on, bro. Let me get this off my brain. No doubt. Hey, salute to y'all, man. I'm gonna get ready for my big day tomorrow. I'll holla at y'all.
All right, King. Peace. Salute to the chat, man. Salute to everybody who showed some love calling the chat. COE Film showed love here for boxing. Blue Blood, my brother. Ray Davis, J Pitt City, Boxing Hacker. Charles Edward Cheese stopped in early today and put some love in the chat, put some color in the chat. Salute to all you guys, man. And we'll build soon, man. At this point, we out. Ooh.
They hate when you elevate. The second of losses, I'm handing them out, yeah, I had to go delegate. It feel like I'm floating, I'm lost in the moment, I swear I could levitate. They never believed that I would really fly, I had to go demonstrate. I had to set them straight. They hate when you elevate, elevate, elevate. They hate when you elevate, elevate, elevate. Yeah, they hate when you elevate, elevate, elevate. They hate when you elevate, yeah. I had to elevate. I'm way too fly, yeah, I'm feeling myself. Ain't no chance I'm coming down, no. Got a soul view to myself, yeah. Why would I give it up? Why do they want to come take my place? I work too hard for it, don't need a replacement. This my vocation, now I got rollies all in rotation. Hop on a jet just to take a vacation. Remember the moments was trapped in the basement. Now the hard work is all taking me places. Squatting all black like we trapped in the matrix. Bet on myself and go ball out in Vegas. Living a life like I'm rich and I'm famous. Don't see the grind that I know that it came with. I ain't make it this far for myself, yeah. I had to prove to everybody else, I had to set them straight, yeah. I had to ball, so I had to renovate, I know. They hate when you elevate. The second of losses, I'm handing them out, yeah, I had to go delegate. It feel like I'm floating, I'm lost in the moment, I swear I could levitate. They never believed that I would really fly, I had to go demonstrate. I had to set them straight. They hate when you elevate.